Assembly Bills number 2 of the year 2025 by the leader of the majority party. The county government's additional allocations bill is a bill that is set to be introduced on the floor of the House for the first time this afternoon. And this bill is an act of parliament that seeks to provide for the additional allocations to the county governments for the 2024-2025 financial year. And that is the responsibilities of the national government as well as the county governments pursuant to such allocation for the connected purposes as indicated in the county government's additional allocation bill, a bill from the National Assembly, bill number 2 of the year 2025. After the reading of the county government's additional allocation bill, the House will then move to consider the Equalization Fund Administration Bill. This is Senate Bills number 14 of the year 2023 by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Matters Finance and National Planning. The bill is currently at the second stage or second reading, if you may like, and we expect members of the National Assembly this afternoon to give their contributions to the proposals in the Equalization Fund Administration Bill, a bill originating from the Senate. Equally, lined up for debate is a Political Parties Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 35 of the year 2022 by the Vice Chairperson, Procedure and House Rules Committee, a bill yet again at the second reading. And after that, the House will then consider the Insurance Professionals Bill, National Assembly Bills number 13 of the year 2024 by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Matters Finance and National Planning. This afternoon, the House will, among others, equally consider a number of bills lined up for consideration in this afternoon's order paper, and being an order paper with a lot of bills for consideration, the other is a the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of the year 2024 by the leader of the majority party, again at the second reading, and the Fisheries Management and Development Bill, National Assembly Bills number 29 of the year 2023. The Public Finance Management Amendment Bill number 2, National Assembly Bills number 26 of the year 2024, a bill by the leader of the majority party, is equally lined up for consideration this afternoon. Remember, you can follow up on this live broadcast brought to you by KBC in partnership with PBU, courtesy of our YouTube channels, that is KBC Channel 1, as well as on Parliament of Kenya. Allow me to hand over for this live broadcast as the Speaker of the National Assembly is already in the chamber, ready to preside over the business this afternoon. Enjoy your viewing.
Waheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu, tukusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tunakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote atakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
The quorum bell at the National Assembly is being rung for a few minutes as directed by the Speaker of the House to give members a few minutes to get into the chamber this afternoon. And as we await for a signal to ascertain if indeed the numbers have been attained, allow me to take you through the order paper this afternoon, where pursuant to Standing Orders number 44, subsection 2C, a number of members of Parliament are expected to seek for statements this afternoon. The first statement is a statement by Honorable Njeri Maina, the Member of Parliament for Kirinyaga County, whose statement is in regards to the delay in the disbursement of Higher Education Loans Board.
Let's start our business.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members have a communication, but let's dispose of the other orders before we come to that after number 7.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
John Bwire, member for Taveta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, the Honorable John Bwire, Member of Parliament for Taveta constituency, on behalf of the Pare community of Kenya in Taveta constituency, draw the attention of the House to the following: that the Constitution of Kenya in its preamble affirms the national pride in the ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity as the bedrock of unity of sovereign nation, that the Pare people referred to as Wapare have been an integral part of the communities living in Taveta constituency and constitute a significant portion of the population in Jipe, Mata, Marodo, Ngutini, Kitogoto, Eldoro, Kitobo, and Bandarasani villages in Taveta constituency. That the Wapare are a Bantu ethnic group who migrated to Kenya in the pre-colonial period of 1800s from the Pare Mountains in Kilimanjaro region in northern eastern Tanzania. Their migration was primarily influenced by trade and social relations with the Taveta people. That some Pare traders and small groups settled in Taveta to engage in commerce, particularly in iron smelting, salt trade, and agriculture. In the early 1900s, the Pare people increasingly migrated to Taveta region due to conflicts in the Kilimanjaro region. That the expansion of long-distance trade in ivory and iron saw more Pare traders and skilled blacksmiths moving to Taveta, where they found welcoming environment in the 19th century. That the Pare people have been part of the social fabric of Taveta constituency since time immemorial, contributing significantly to the local and national economies. That in recent years, Kenya has made important strides in efforts to resolve statelessness by recognizing as citizens thousands of other previously stateless people, including those from Makonde and Shona communities and others of Indian descent. That therefore the recognition of Pare people would allow the community to be fully integrated into country's legal framework in consistency with national values and governance principles that prioritize inclusivity, equality, and diversity. That the efforts to have this matter addressed by relevant authorities have been futile, and that the matter presented in this petition is not pending before any court of law or any constitutional or legal body. Therefore, your humble petitioners pray that the National Assembly, through the Public Petitions Committee, to 1, inquire into the matter with a view of securing urgent recognition of the Pare people of Kenya as a tribe of the Republic of Kenya. 2, make any other recommendations or actions it deems fit in addressing plight of the petitioners, and your petitioners will ever pray. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Bwire. Yes, Honorable Mbaya.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to make some remarks and comments on the petition. First, to support the efforts of the Honorable Bwire, a young and very vibrant MP from Taveta, on the aspect of recognizing the Pare people as Kenyans. The Pare, Honorable Speaker, like the Makonde and the Wanyasa from Malawi and the Pemba, have been Kenyans. A lot of them, when they came during the construction of the railway and the sisal farms, found Kenya their home. Their great-grandfathers were here. Children have been born, and issues have come out of those relationships, those marriages of those Pemba, of those Pare. But today, the Pare have not been recognized, and we have communities like the Rundi who are here, okay, and the Rwandans who are here. They are Kenyans by birth, but they have not been recognized as Kenyans. The 12th Parliament, Honorable Speaker, did us very proud because through a parliamentary process, the Pemba were recognized. And I would like to request the committee, the Petitions Committee, to use this opportunity to bring honor to the 13th Parliament by ensuring that this community, the Pare people that live in Taveta and have lived there continuously, to ensure that they become Kenyans and they're recognized and given citizenship. So, Honorable Speaker, and the committee that will be assigned this petition, I will request them to hasten and as fast as possible ensure that the Pare are recognized as Kenyans. But, Honorable Speaker, I also wish to bring an amendment to the Citizenship Act so that those other communities become very automatic. They don't have to be struggled to be Kenyans, and yet they have continued to be Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, as you assign the committee, please give them the assignment that they hasten so that the Pare who are here in this country become Kenyans. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I'll commit the petition to the Committee on Public Petitions to report back in 60 days. And Owen Bayer, as a leader in the House, yes, you should, with your colleagues, find a framework of getting people like the Pare. If we recognize our compatriots, the Indian community, as a tribe in Kenya, I don't see why we shouldn't recognize the Pare and any other communities of African descent that are here, so that we can be able to avoid the statelessness of people in this country. At least we have done very well with the Pemba, with the Makonde, with the Nubians, with the Indians. So the progress is good, but you can, on your own motion, also engage this kind of thing.
Brought amendments to the Citizenship Act,
yes,
which is, I think, before you, but before the Committee of Security, so that we can have a framework to ensure that all those Kenyans that are here can be recognized as Kenyans.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Then, next. Okay. Next.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. These very important papers, Honorable Speaker, because they're part of the budget cycle. 1, supplementary estimates 2 for the year 2024-2025 from the National Treasury and Economic Planning, and the following accompanying documents: program-based budget, B, recurrent estimates. C, development estimates, volume 1, 2, and 3. And D, memorandum on supplementary estimates number 2. So we lay the supplementary estimate 2 for the financial year 2024-2025, Honorable Speaker. 2, draft public finance management, Teachers Service Commission, staff car loan and mortgage fund regulations 2024 from the Teachers Service Commission. And 3, submission of nominees for the following national government constituencies development fund committees. 1, Bonchari. 2, Bondo. 3, Dagoretti South. 4, Eldama Ravine. 5, Embakasi East. 6, Endebeth. 7, Gilgil. 8, Igembe South. 9, Kabondo Kasipul. 10, Kajiado Central. 11, Kajiado West. 12, Kasipul. 13, Kiamba. 14, Kibra. 15, Kiharu. 16, Kipkelion East. 17, Kitui Rural. 18, Kuresoi North. 19, Laikipia West. 20, Lamu East. 21, Lamu West. 22nd, 22, Magarini. 23rd, Makadara. 24, Mandera East. 25, Mandera North. 26, Masinga. 27, Mathioya. 28, Matuga. 29, Mwingi Central. 30, Nambale. 31, Daragwa. 32, Rarieda. 33, Roysambo. 34, Samburu West. 35, Sigor. 36, South Imenti. 37, Sarehe. 38, Teso South. I beg to lay, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Agriculture.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 18th of February, 2025. Report of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on its consideration of the Agricultural and Livestock Extension Service Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022.
Thank you, Yekon. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. Benja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 18 February 2025. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of 1, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2024, and the Public Finance Management Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2024. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Thank you. Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Jerry Maina.
Apologies, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, thank you. I rise to request for statement regarding the delay in disbursement of the Higher Education Loans Board funds. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the ongoing funding crisis affecting students in institutions of higher learning across the country. Honorable Speaker, on 20th December 2024, the High Court of Kenya, in Kenya Human Rights Commission and 3 others versus the AG and 4 others, 2024, declared the new higher education funding model unconstitutional and issued an order of prohibition which barred implementation of the model until the government complies with the Constitution and the necessary legal requirements. Thereafter, the Ministry of Education undertook to introduce a new tertiary institution funding model to address the matter. This is expected to be implemented later in the year. Despite the government undertaking to revert to the old Higher Education Loans Board HELB model, there has been an apparent lack of commitment to timely disbursement of funds to students. This contravenes the provisions of Article 43(1) of the Constitution, which guarantee the right of every person to education. At present, thousands of students continuing with their studies face financial distress as they are unable to pay tuition fees, which has left them locked out of examinations. This has triggered unrest in universities across the country, with students staging protests and, in other cases, lecturers boycotting examinations. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. 1. The total amount of funds disbursed by the National Treasury under the Higher Education Loans Board HELB model, including specific dates of these disbursements. 2. The total number of students who have benefited from the disbursed funds since November 2024, and the measures put in place to ensure timely disbursements of funds to prevent future disruptions in learning. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Melly, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Honorable Speaker, 2 weeks is very far. The information that the honourable member is asking is very urgent, very important.
Well done. Wednesday next week.
So I want to bring it, I think Tuesday next week.
Tuesday,
yes.
You'll be ready?
I'll be ready with it.
Tuesday, 2:30.
Yes, thank you.
Mashua Waithaka, all chairpersons should be like that. Mashua Waithaka. Give the mic to Mashua.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Speaker. Request for statement regarding land parcels erroneously listed by the National Land Commission. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands regarding an erroneous classification of 2 parcels of land belonging to Mr. Stephen Shege as illegal alienated government land. Honorable Speaker, on the 17th July 2017, the National Land Commission, NLC, with the Kenya Gazette, volume CX1X, number 97, listed several parcels of land as illegal alienated government land and ordered that their titles be revoked. Among them were 2 parcels of land in Kiambu County, land with house block 2/80 and land with house block 2/81 belonging to Mr. Stephen Shege of ID number 0551205, which he illegally acquired in 2006 and 2007 respectively. Since then, he has consistently remitted required land rates to Kiambu County government without any dispute or challenge over the legitimacy of his ownership, which evidences rightfully ownership. The arbitrary revocation of his title deeds by NLC amounts to deprivation of property by the government, which violates the provisions of Article 40 of the Constitution. Despite numerous appeals to the National Land Commission to rectify this error, no corrective action has been taken. The situation raises concerns regarding fairness and reliability of land administration process in the country. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands on the following. The reasons for the cancellation of title deeds number block 2/80 and block 2/81 in Kiambu County belonging to Mr. Stephen Shege via Gazette Notice number 6864 of 17 July 2017, despite his lawful acquisition and payment of land rates to the government. 2. Report on the status of revocation of the erroneous Gazette Notice to restore the land ownership rights to Mr. Stephen Shege. And 3. The specific implementation timelines when the National Land Commission will resolve the error, including reassurance of valid title deeds to Mr. Stephen Shege. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Nyamoko. How much time do you need to bring a response? Give him the mic.
2 weeks, Honorable Speaker.
2 weeks, so ordered. Joseph Gitari. Honorable Joseph Gitari, Kirinyaga Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I like to request a statement regarding the management of Shirikisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Cooperative Society Limited. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson Departmental Committee on Trade and Industry and Cooperative regarding the management of Shirikisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Cooperative Society Limited. Honorable Speaker, Shirikisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Society (SACCO) Limited was established in the year 2001 with the objective of empowering women to actively engage in economic decision-making. Initially rooted in Embu and Kirinyaga counties, the SACCO has grown to include thousands of members from across the country and boost a substantial capital base. However, in the recent past, concerns have emerged among members regarding the operation of the SACCO, especially following the unfortunate passing on by the coordinator, Mrs. Christine Gary. Since our demise, there has been a breakdown of communication from the new management despite repeated requests from members for updates on the governance and financial status of the SACCO. This has caused anxiety among members, particularly noting that prevalence in financial management reported in various cooperative societies in the country. Honorable Speaker, it is...
Order, Honorable Dena, can you walk back to where you've come from? You have been here for now 2.5 years. You know what to do. Honorable Bensouda, can you induct him on what to do? Go on, Gitari.
Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperative on the following. 1. The current status of Shirikisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Society Limited, including financial and registration status with the SACCO Society Regulatory Authority, SASLA. Number 2, measures that the Ministry of Cooperative and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise, MSMEs, development has put in place to ensure that the SACCO complies with the established regulation, particularly in financial reporting and holding of regular meetings. Number 3, Speaker, the steps taken by the Ministry to enhance governance and oversight of the cooperative in the country to protect the member savings. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gitari. Chair, Trade, Gakuya. Vice Chair. How much time do you require?
2 weeks.
2 weeks it
Thank
is.
you.
Thank you. Go back to order number 2.
Order number 2, communication from the Chair.
Honorable members, before I make some short communication, allow me to acknowledge the presence of a delegation of 5 staff from the Office of the Leader of Opposition of the Parliament of Uganda, sitting in the Speaker's gallery to observe the House proceedings. The delegation is on a benchmarking visit at the National Assembly to foster knowledge exchange and share parliamentary experience with our staff in the National Assembly. On my own behalf and that of the National Assembly, I welcome the delegation to the National Assembly and wish them well during their visit. In the public gallery, honorable members, I acknowledge the presence of the following institutions: Pan-African Christian University from Roysambu, Nairobi, Mathwata Secondary School from Masinga, Machakos, Kiambere School Complex from Bere North, Embu, St. Clair Girls High School, Gatitu from Gatundu South, Kiambu, Gilgil Day Secondary School, Gilgil, Nakuru. On behalf of all of us, Mother Wangari has asked me to acknowledge a school from her constituency, do so for all the rest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I must say that this session is very encouraging to find that our schools are back in full force. We are able to host very many students in the galleries so that they can be able to observe the proceedings of this house. It also helps us to actually realize that we are pace setters and we have to actually be good examples for the youngsters that we host here every time. But Mr. Speaker, as I welcome all the students, allow me to pay special tribute to Gilgil Day Secondary School, one of the biggest day schools in Gilgil, hosting over 1,000 kids, Mr. Speaker, even without Form 1s. And there are so many such that even tomorrow we'll have another delegation of the same school. I want to just take the opportunity to welcome to the house and to actually encourage them, because we are only here for a while. It will be them sitting on these seats in the next few years to come. So on behalf of all of us and for all the school students that are visiting, I want to take this opportunity to welcome them to the house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Members on their feet, take your seats. Richard Yegon, take your seat. Mrembo, take your seat. Honorable members, I've got two communications to make. The first one is an update on reconstitution of lapsed committees. I've been notified by the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party that the committee on selection is yet to conclude the nomination of members to the lapsed committees. Further, the leaders note that consultations are ongoing and will be concluded soon to allow for the reconstitution of the specified committees. Honorable members, noting that the budget policy statement, PBS, and the medium-term debt strategy, which was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 13th February 2025, has specified timelines, I direct that awaiting the reconstitution of committees, the BPS be processed by the liaison committee, similarly noting that the supplementary estimates 2 for the 2024-2025 financial year have just been laid on the table of the House. I also refer the same to the liaison committee for processing. I thank you. Second communication, honorable members, is to notify the House of the demise of 2 members of Parliament, a senator and a member of the National Assembly, the member for Malava constituency, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi, and the senator for Baringo, the Honorable William Kipkiror Cheptumo. Honorable members, it's with immense sorrow that I hereby notify members of the National Assembly and the entire Parliament fraternity of the untimely demise of 2 of our colleagues, one in the National Assembly and the other in the Senate. First, honorable members, I report with a heavy heart the passing on of the member for Malava constituency, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi MP, which occurred yesterday, Monday, 17th February 2025, while he was undergoing treatment at the Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi. The late Honorable Injendi was born on 9th October 1966 in Lugusi village, Malava constituency. He began his education at Lugusi Primary School in 1974 and completed there in 1981. Thereafter, he joined St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys High School in 1982 and completed his O-levels there in 1985. He proceeded to St. Peter's Mumias Boys High School for his A-levels and completed in 1987. He later joined Egerton University for his undergraduate studies, graduating in 1991 with a Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Sociology. His passion for education pushed him to further his studies and attained a Master of Arts Sociology degree from the University of Nairobi in 1996. At the time of his demise, He was pursuing a Doctor of Philosophy at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in the Republic of South Africa. The late Honorable Njendi has a vast career in life, having worked at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa from 2001 as a deputy registrar and later as a lecturer. As an educationist, the late Njendi championed education reforms and dedicated his time to serve as a chairperson and member of boards of governors of various schools, including Lugusi Secondary School. The late Njendi joined elective politics in 2013 when he successfully vied for and won the parliamentary seat as a member for Malava constituency of the Maendeleo Democratic Party MDP ticket, a seat he retained for 3 consecutive terms. Until his untimely demise, he was serving his 3rd term in parliament and was the vice chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education, where he played a critical role in the formulation of policies to improve the education sector. He was also a member of the Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and the Library, where he contributed to the committee's work in its report on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. The report was adopted by this House in September 2024 and is being progressively implemented. The late Honorable Njendi will also be remembered for his contributions in supporting reforms in the sugar sector, including supporting the enactment of the Sugar Act 2024. In the 12th Parliament, the Honorable Njendi also served in the Departmental Committee on Education and Research, the Departmental Committee on Labour and Social Welfare, Transport, Public Works and Housing, and the Committee on Regional Integration. In his first stint, which was the 11th Parliament, the late Njendi was a member of the Departmental Committee on Education, Research and Technology, and the Joint Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. His diligent contribution towards the fulfillment of the mandates of the committees in which he served since 2013 was immense. The late Njendi was a dedicated and selfless leader who had passion for reforms in education and other aspects of social welfare. Of note was his passion for the welfare of village elders. Having been raised by a father who served as a village elder, the late Njendi always wished for structured integration of village elders in the national government administration with appropriate remunerations. Consequently, honorable members, when he finally got the platform on the floor of this House, as a member in the 11th Parliament, the late Njendi actualized his desire by introducing a motion on recognition of compensation of village elders, which was adopted by the House in 2016. The motion urged the government to facilitate village elders with a monthly honorarium to facilitate them meet their logistical costs and encourage them to uphold their dedication to serving the community. Later on in 13th Parliament, he escalated the motion to a bill by sponsoring the National Government Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 25 of 2023, so as to give the motion the force of law. The bill, which seeks to recognize village elders who perform national government function at the village level administrative units, is currently awaiting consideration at the Committee of the Whole House. In honor of his persistent vision of creating a framework for recognition of village elders in the national government administration hierarchies, I urge the House to prioritize the bill for enactment into law. Honorable members, besides his legislative role, the late Honorable Njendi was a devout Catholic and an active member of the Catholic Members of Parliament caucus since he joined Parliament. The late Njendi was proud of his Catholic faith and was always visibly wearing his rosary at all times. Indeed, in the year 2023, he requested and received a special rosary right from the Vatican, blessed by the Pope Francis. The late Honorable Njendi was unique for his role, for his rule of thumb practice of always connecting his faith with legislative work. He is reported to have always sought to understand the biblical and Catholic foundational teachings on all matters that were before the House for consideration to inform his position and contribution of them. Honorable members, in the passing on of Njendi, a humble leader who served his constituents and the nation with unwavering dedication and integrity, has rested. On behalf of the Parliamentary Service Commission, all members and staff of the National Assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, I convey our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Honorable Njendi, his relatives, friends, and the people of Malava constituency. As the National Assembly, we assure them of our support during this period of great sorrow. Honorable members, I also wish to report with profound sorrow the untimely demise of one of our colleagues in the Senate, the Honorable William Kipkiror Cheptumo MP, who was the Senator for Baringo County. The late William Cheptumo passed away on Saturday, 16 February 2025, while receiving treatment at the Nairobi Hospital. The late Senator William Cheptumo was born on 25 December 1967 in Baringo County. He attended Maregut Primary School before joining Bartolimo Secondary School and later Cabernet High School for his O-level and A-level. Thereafter, he pursued a Bachelor of Laws degree at the University of Nairobi from 1988 to 1991 and a postgraduate diploma in law at the Kenya School of Law in 1992, prior to his admission to the bar as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Senator Cheptumo began his legal career as a legal officer at the Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation, ICDC, in 1993 and left ICDC in 1995. He then joined the Central Bank of Kenya as a legal officer in 1995 and left in 1998 to establish his own firm, Cheptumo and Kamban Advocates, which he ran from 1998 to 2007. During this time, he gained vast experience on practicing law, establishing himself as an astute advocate. The late Senator Cheptumo ventured into politics in 2007 when he successfully contested for the Baringo North constituency parliamentary seat on the Orange Democratic Movement ODM party ticket. During his first term of parliament between 2008 and 2013, I had the privilege of working alongside him in the executive when he served as the Assistant Minister for Justice, National Cohesion, and Constitutional Affairs while I held the Foreign Affairs portfolio as the Minister. Senator Cheptumo not only demonstrated exceptional dedication and a deep understanding of legal matters, but also applied his legal knowledge in the running of government affairs under his charge. The late Senator Cheptumo was re-elected for a second term in 2013 in the 11th Parliament. He served as the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, a member of the House Business Committee, and a member of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. Additionally, he was a member of the Parliamentary Pensions Management Committee. As the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, the late Senator Cheptumo will be remembered for superintending the consideration of many statutory instruments that were necessary to operationalize the acts of Parliament that were enacted to actualize the 2010 Constitution. The late Senator Cheptumo was once again re-elected to represent Baringo North constituency in the 12th Parliament, making him one of the longest-serving members of this House. He served as the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, where his legal and immense parliamentary expertise were instrumental in guiding key legislative processes and the consideration of policies that were referred to his committee. In 2002, honorable members, the late Senator Cheptumo successfully contested for the Baringo County Senate seat. Until his demise, he was serving as the chairperson of the Senate Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. Additionally, he was an active member of the Senate Liaison Committee, the Senate Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee, and Land, Environment, and Natural Resources. He was a member of the Ad Hoc Committee on the Proliferation of Religious Organizations and the Circumstances Leading to the Deaths of more than 95 people in Shakahola in Kilifi County. Honorable members, in his passing on, Parliament and indeed the country has lost a transformative servant leader. On behalf of the National Assembly, the Parliamentary Service Commission, and indeed on my own behalf, I pay tribute to Senator William Cheptumo and extend our deepest condolences to his family and the people of Baringo County. His death is a big loss to Parliament, to the people of Baringo County, and the nation at large, which he served with dedication and humility. Honorable members, condolence books have been opened both at the National Assembly and the Senate receptions, main Parliament buildings, where honorable members and parliamentary staff may record their condolence messages to the families of the departed members for Malava and the Senator for Baringo, respectively. In line with the Parliamentary Service Commission's bereavement policy, I have constituted an ad hoc funeral committee to help with the funeral arrangements. The committee comprises of the following members in relation to Honorable Malulu Njendi: Honorable Bernard Shinal MP as the chairperson, Honorable Julius Meli, CBS MP, Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, CBS MP, and Honorable Ellis Muhanda. I have also requested the Speaker of the Senate to nominate 2 senators to the ad hoc committee. I have also appointed the following members to work with our Senate colleagues in coordinating Parliament's involvement in the funeral arrangement for the late Senator William Cheptumo: the Honorable T.J. Kajwang, CBS MP, the Honorable Joseph McClap, MP, the Honorable Florence Jematia, MP. Honorable members are therefore encouraged to liaise with the ad hoc committees on matters relating to the funeral and interment of our departed colleagues. In connection with the passing on of the Vice Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education of this House, I also wish to inform the House of the demise of another educationist in the country, Mr. Johnson Matheka Nzioka, the National Chairperson of the Kenya Primary Schools Heads Association, KEPSHA. The late Mr. Nzioka, who was also the head teacher of Donholm Primary School in Nairobi City County, succumbed to his injuries he sustained in a road accident that occurred on Sunday, 16 February 2025 in Athi River along Nairobi-Mombasa Road. The late Mr. Nzioka, who is a long-serving and distinguished educationist with a career spanning over 39 years, holds a bachelor's degree in education from East African University and a diploma in education management from the Kenya Institute of Education Management, KEMI. In these very many years as a career teacher, he has been a head teacher for 24 years. He has made immense contribution to the education sector in various capacities, including, as I've mentioned, a head teacher for 24 years and a member of various councils such as the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, the Education Task Force, the International Confederation of Principals, and the National Examination Appeals Tribunal. In recognition of his dedication and exceptional service to primary education, he was recognized and awarded the Head of State Commendation HSC in 2021. Honourable members, in honor of our departed colleagues, the Honourable Moses Malulu Njendi, MP, and the Honourable Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo, MP, and the KEPSHA Chairman, I request that we all stand and observe a moment of silence. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Amen. Honorable members, I put this communication to come after the other orders because many members asked me to give them an opportunity to eulogize their colleagues. I'll allocate 1 hour to this from now to 4:15, and each member who gets an opportunity will have a maximum of 2 minutes. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to join you in condoling with the families of the late Cheptumo and the late Malulu Njendi. Honorable Speaker, I happen to have joined this House at the same time with the 2 members in the 11th Parliament, and I can attest to what you have said in your communication, that the 2 honorable members, the Senator for Baringo and the member for Malava, are indeed very dedicated public servants and leaders in their respective constituencies. Honorable Cheptumo, Honorable Speaker, when he represented Baringo North and served in this House, serving all the way as the chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee.
Order, honorable members. This is a solemn moment where we have lost two of your colleagues at the same time. I would expect that you give it the solemnity that it deserves. Go on, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying Honorable Cheptumo served also as a member and later chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee and served with a lot of diligence as a chair of that committee, and those who were in the 12th Parliament with us, we remember the dedication with which the Honorable Cheptumo served this House as chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee, considering numerous regulations for approval in the House, and did so with a lot of intellect. Honorable Cheptumo, Honorable Speaker, happened to be a very good lawyer. And I was privileged, Honorable Speaker, to learn later after I served with him here that he had also worked with my wife, who was then working in the bank, and Cheptumo happened to be in one of the panels for that bank. And my wife attested when we finally met at some point somewhere together with Honorable Cheptumo. She attested how diligent Honorable Cheptumo was in conveyancing and how much even those who worked in the bank trusted the work of the late Honorable Cheptumo. And is indeed a great loss, not just to his family, to the people of Baringo County, especially the people of Baringo North, whom he represented in this House for 2 terms as their Member of Parliament, but also the greater people of Baringo, who he served as their senator. It is sad that we have lost him at a time when the people of Baringo needed him the most. Honorable Speaker, I was also privileged to have served with Honorable Malulu Ijendi from the 11th Parliament, when we first joined this House together. And Malulu, the late Malulu, Honorable Speaker, again is a leader who exemplified himself as a servant, true servant of the people, and a true believer. Honorable Speaker, many members will bear me witness that the late Malulu never left his rosary wherever he went. And those who have served with the late Malulu in this House, those of the Catholic faith, will remember that Malulu Ijendi at all times had his rosary with him. And many of us nicknamed him Bishop. And indeed, where he used to sit, just behind where the Honorable Ikana is seated, he had a permanent position there. And every time as we walked out, we would say hi to him and call him Bishop. And he's indeed a great loss, not just to the people of Malava, his family, but to us as a nation. The late Malulu Ijendi was not just a true believer, but also a dedicated educationist. As a former teacher, he moved on to serve as our vice chair of the Education Committee, and the chair of the Education Committee will tell you the dedication.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to condole with the family of the departed members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am known to Honorable Ijendi Malulu, Mr. Speaker. We came in the 11th Parliament, I think, together to this Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he was a very dedicated servant of the people and somebody who had spent most of his time in his constituency, Mr. Speaker. He was rarely in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Any time he had in his hand, Mr. Speaker, the member spent with his constituents, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker is a man who knew what he was doing. Because, Mr. Speaker, the love Honorable Ijendi Malulu had for his constituents, Mr. Speaker, was immeasurable. I remember during the elections, Mr. Speaker, we were campaigning and we had a candidate as a party against him, Mr. Speaker. But when we visited the constituency, we were told categorically that the most popular person in this constituency is Malulu Ijendi, Mr. Speaker, as an individual. You know, on whichever party he contests. That is the information we were given on the ground. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask God to stand with these people, Mr. Speaker, at this trying moment. And Honorable Cheptumo, Mr. Speaker, also, we were together with him in this House. He was a very dedicated servant, Mr. Speaker, of the people. He was in the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, and we benefited as a House, Mr. Speaker, immensely from his knowledge of the Constitution and the law, Mr. Speaker. I served with him in Parliament, I served with him in the House Business Committee, and Mr. Speaker, those are servants of people who have left us, Mr. Speaker, at a time when Kenyans really require their service, Mr. Speaker. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I condole with the family, and may God rest their souls in peace, Mr. Speaker.
Meli.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this time to condole with the family of our two honorable colleagues, Honorable Cheptumo and Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi. Honorable Speaker, we came to this House with Honorable Malulu Injendi in 2013, and as my colleagues have said, he was a very humble, very diligent, very honest, very religious, and a good educationist. I served with him in the 11th Parliament as a member of the Committee of Education, where we were led ably by Honorable Sabina Chege. During that time, Honorable Malulu Injendi gave us his mind on educational issues, ranging from the primary school education all the way to university. Honorable Malulu Injendi, Honorable Speaker and members, he was a man who actually loved his constituents a lot. He didn't fail to go to his constituency every weekend, every month. And at all times, he served these people with a lot of diligence and integrity. He was a man who really built many schools, many colleges, and many institutions in his place. Honorable Cheptumo is a senior member in this House. He mentored us. We found him. He was a member of Baringo North from 2007 all the way to 2013 when he came in. As young legislators, Cheptumo took us with a lot of humility and taught us parliamentary legislative processes. As a member of the delegated committee and also as a member of several other committees, we learned a lot from the two members. May the good Lord rest their souls in eternal peace. Asante sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to pay tribute to the Honorable Malulu Injendi, Moses MP Malava, Kakamega County, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Malulu has been a good friend, very close and a relative, Mr. Speaker, a man of humility, down to earth, Mr. Speaker. Being a relative, Mr. Speaker, despite the age group, Mr. Speaker, Malulu has always called me uncle since he's married from my clan, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I and Mr. Malulu in political trajectory took the same path in 2017, Mr. Speaker, when we found ourselves in corridors of justice, Mr. Speaker, defending election petitions, Mr. Speaker, in the High Court in Kakamega. Despite that, we also won, both of us, and Mr. Speaker, at 2022, Mr. Speaker, we are re-elected the third time, Mr. Speaker, with the Malulu Injendi. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Malulu Injendi, the MP Malava, has transformed education in Malava, both infrastructure and learning, Mr. Speaker, in Malava constituency. Mr. Speaker, I wish to take this chance, Mr. Speaker, on my own behalf and on behalf of people of Ikolomani and Kakamega County, to eulogize with the family and pass my condolences to the people of Kakamega for losing such a leader, Malava constituency. Mr. Speaker, also losing a committed leader who has transformed and left a legacy in the Malava constituency, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've had the privilege of interacting with Mr. and Ms. Cheptumo as legal practitioners long before he joined politics, Mr. Speaker. And I found him as a brilliant legal practitioner who was down to earth, I also had the privilege of being with him in Parliament from 2007 as a representative of the people of Baringo North, and then later on, right now, he was serving as a senator. Mr. Speaker, death is a must. We as a Muslim, we always say, كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every soul shall test death. It's a must. It's only the owner who gives and who knows when to take away. And therefore, all of us must be ready to submit to the will of God when we live, so that when we go down, we'll be welcomed in the bounties of heaven, Mr. Speaker. I know Mr. Cheptumo will be missed by many friends. Mr. Speaker, I have also interacted with Mr. Ijendi and found him a man who was carrying the rosary. In my culture, Mr. Speaker, when you see a man or a woman of God always blessed with a rosary, it's a sign of forgiveness. It's a sign of atonement. It's a sign of asking, look, you always appreciate the omnipresence of God around you. And I know truly in Mr. Ijendi and Mr. Cheptumo, the people they have represented will greatly miss them. But Mr. Speaker, the only thing that we can do, I want to urge you, as our head here, to give them a dignified and decent send-off. That is the only way we can also remain true to the service they have offered to their respective electorate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sabina Chege. Sergeant, can you check the system is malfunctioning? Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to offer my condolences to the people of Malava on behalf of Honorable Ijendi and also the people of Baringo County. Mr. Speaker, both members have worked with them, and I worked with Honorable Ijendi on 11th Parliament, where I chaired the Committee on Education. He was one of the greatest supporters who contributed immensely in education. Mr. Ijendi, Honorable Ijendi, was also a lecturer and a person who also loved the Catholic faith. We will all remember him wearing his crucifix, and he was a very humble man. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Cheptumo, I also served with him at the 12th Parliament, and also now he was a senator. And I would also want to pass my condolences to the people of Baringo County and also his family. And I just want to say one word, Mr. Speaker, that as leaders we should know that life is not permanent. As we make decisions, as we work together here in the House, let us not carry heavy burdens, and let us serve the people, because God has appointed us at a time like this and nobody knows about tomorrow. So to the people of Baringo and Malava constituency, I personally wish them God's grace at this time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Maklap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me join you in paying tribute to our late Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo, who passed on 16th. Mr. Speaker, first I want to endorse that whatever you read, Mr. Speaker, is a true position and life of Honorable William Cheptumo, our Senator and our immediate former Member of Parliament of Baringo North, a man that I took over from in 2022. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it known that Senator Cheptumo is not only Senator of Baringo, he was actually my maternal uncle. So, Mr. Speaker, I have lost a jomba in myself. A man that is fast in many things. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Cheptumo went to school too late. Those of us, Mr. Speaker, who are not born in hospital and who lived in rural areas, Mr. Speaker, went to school too late. You could see, Mr. Speaker, Cheptumo written 57 years ago. Mr. Speaker, the true position is not 57. We always choose the date of Christmas when Jesus was born as our birthday for those of us who are not born in hospital, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this man did a good job in Baringo North, Mr. Speaker, and I have made, Mr. Speaker, give me an extra minute, and I have ensured, Mr. Speaker, that whatever Cheptumo started in Baringo North, we were able to complete, Mr. Speaker, within the shortest time possible. Mr. Speaker, because of no time, Mr. Speaker, I wish to also inform members that Honorable Cheptumo shall be laid to rest in his home in Bartabwa on 1st of March, Mr. Speaker, and there will be a requiem mass on. Allow me just on 27, Mr. Speaker. There will be a requiem mass in AIC Mlimani for our late Senator William Cheptumo, Mr. Speaker, and I've also known Mr. Ichendi as my registrar in Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Mr. Speaker, where I started double mathematics, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may their souls rest in peace, Mr. Speaker, and thank you.
Nabii Nabwera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to condole with the families of Cheptumo and Honorable Malulu Injendi. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Malulu Injendi and I share so many things. Our mothers are angled in the same home. Honorable Injendi and I belong to the same circumcision age set, Vachuma. Injendi and I were in school at the same time. While he was in Mumias, I was in Musingu High School. I've known Injendi for well over 30 years. Honorable Injendi was not just a friend, a relative, but also a barometer for many things. When I wanted to check something that I thought I wanted to contribute on, I would speak to Honorable Injendi. On behalf of the caucus, Western Parliamentary Group Caucus, and on behalf of the people of Lugari, I want to send my sincere condolences to the family, to the children, and to the people of Malaba. Honorable Speaker, you remember you gave me an assignment with Honorable Wangwe to be the caretaker of Honorable Injendi when he was in a hospital all this long. It's a journey that Honorable Speaker was very difficult for Honorable Wangwe and I. We saw him sick. We saw him rising up. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Yes, wind up.
We've seen him lose the battle. It has not been easy. And I want to thank you, the Speaker, and everyone else who joined us in this journey. I condole with the family.
Betsimba. Honorable Betsimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Pia mimi nisimame kwa niaba ya eneo bunge la Kisauni kusema pole kwa ndugu jamaa na marafiki na eneo bunge la Malava kwa kifo cha Mheshimiwa Ijendi. Mheshimiwa Ijendi alikuwa anaishi na watu vizuri, na kitu anayohitaji sasa ni maombi. Kikubwa anachohitaji ni maombi. Tumuombe Mungu amsamehe madhambi yake, amweke katika watu wema mahala pema. Pia hii ni ishara kwamba unakumbushwa kwamba hii dunia unapita. Kwa hivyo unalohitajika hapa katika dunia hii ni kufanya mema. Hayo ndio yatakwenda kusaidia mbele. Kifo hakijali mtu mzima wala mtoto wala cheo chochote, wala una uhakika kuishi dakika 2 kutoka sasa. Kwa hivyo hii ni moja katika pia wale ambao bado wako hai wajue kwamba iko safari ambayo wanakwenda, na kikubwa ni ufanye mema, na sisi sasa tulopewa jukumu tuwe tunafanya mazuri yale ambao wanasaidia wale watu ambao wametuchagua. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Chematia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to condole with the people of Baringo and people of Malaba. People of Malaba for the loss of our colleagues, Senator Cheptumo from Baringo and Honorable Injendi. Mr. Speaker, Baringo has lost a great leader in Cheptumo, because Cheptumo served this house for 15 years. And I must say, the biggest gap that Cheptumo created in these laws is the counsel that he gives us as young leaders and the continuous fight on insecurity in Baringo. And we want to say thank you to all members who have helped us through. We are still mourning as Baringo County, and I also want to say we will miss him so much. And Cheptumo will live, his life is going to live more. And for Injendi and family, I want to send my condolences. I knew Injendi because he was one of my voters when I was going to East Africa, and also being a colleague for these last 2 years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Waluke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance also to contribute on the two leaders, the two members of Parliament whom we have lost. Honorable Speaker, I know and I knew all the two members that have worked with them, Honorable Injendi and the Honorable Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I knew Cheptumo from 2007. I've interacted with him for a very long time, and we met in this house, the 11th Parliament, and he was a very able and honest, hard-working leader, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Injendi was a very strong member, very honest, and people of Malava, I want to say, pole to them, Honorable Speaker. He was a very strong member of the caucus, Western Regional Caucus. He was a very good advisor of us, Honorable Speaker. We are going to miss them. I used to crack jokes with him, Honorable Speaker, wherever we meet with Honorable Injendi, calling him the Bishop of the Catholic Church, Honorable Speaker. And he was a very jovial member of Parliament, Honorable Speaker. No one in this House, Honorable Speaker, can complain and say that maybe Injendi was a rough. We are going to miss Honorable Injendi and Honorable Cheptumo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Makali Mulu.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and the behalf of the good people of Kitui Central, I want to convey my deepest condolences to the two families, the family of Honorable Injendi Malulu and the family of Senator Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I had a chance to work with these two honorable members for 2 terms, for the Cheptumo, and 3 terms with the Honorable Injendi. And Honorable Speaker, these two honorable members have been very serious with their work, and I'm very sure that the people who have been voting for them will miss them in a big way. So even as Honorable Speaker, we send our sympathies to the people who have been voting for them, Honorable Speaker. My prayer to the Almighty God is that they are so rest in eternal peace. Amen, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to pay tribute to 2 great people. Honorable Injendi Mululu, whom I first met when I came here to Parliament. And I know that one of the most important things that I remember about him, was that he was kind and very amiable. He was a gentleman. And so when I arrived in Parliament, I felt like I was fish out of water, but he was one of the people who made me comfortable. He was always polite and kind. He always gave you way when you walked on the corridors or when people were crushing you on the corridors. And most importantly, when he wanted to speak, he requested with such humility and grace despite being very senior. As for Honorable Senator Cheptumo, he was my classmate at the University of Nairobi Law School. And I remember he also stood out because he was sober, calm, and very wise. And once I asked somebody, why does he behave like my father? Then I later was told, and he told me himself, that he had joined school at a very later age. So he was nicer than all the other men at the university, was very polite, was like a father to you. And most importantly, when all the young men in first year were chasing after girls, Cheptumo was focused on studying and was always telling the others not to behave like that. We will always remember our two colleagues.
Were they chasing girls or seducing girls?
Quoting them. But I stand here today to condole on behalf of the people of Uasin Gishu County with both the families, and may God rest their souls in eternal peace. Amen.
Mishimbogo.
This one. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hakika ni pigo kubwa sana katika taifa letu la Kenya na pia katika mabunge yetu mawili. Kupoteza viongozi mashujaa wetu wawili. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Cheptumo ambaye ni seneta, alikuwa seneta wa Baringo, alikuwa kiongozi mwenye busara sana. Alikuwa kiongozi mwadilifu, na hata wakati alipokuwa akichangia katika bunge hili la kitaifa, katika miswada na katika hoja, ungemwangalia ungejua huyu ni kiongozi ambaye anajielewa na anajua kwa nini yako katika bunge hili la kitaifa. Mheshimiwa huyu amefanya mchango mkubwa sana hata kule nyanjani. Tumezungumza na watu wengi sana kutoka sehemu za Baringo, na hivi sasa ni pengo kubwa sana ambalo liko pale. Lakini kwa niaba ya watu wa Likoni nasema poleni sana. Mwenyezi Mungu apatie familia faraja na apatie taifa la Kenya faraja. Kwa ndugu yetu Malulu Ijendi, pia alikuwa kiongozi mwadilifu, kiongozi shupavu. Ukiangalia katika Kakamega, ilikuwa ni sehemu ambayo ni pahali ambapo chama cha chungwa kimebobea, lakini yeye angeweza kuchaguliwa akiwa katika chama cha UDA. Kwa hivyo ni kumaanisha alikuwa ni kiongozi ambaye anatenda mema na anafanya mambo zaidi, haswa katika mambo ya miradi. Ni mheshimiwa ambaye alikuwa mpole, hata ukimuona utamuona tu mwenyewe amevaa ule msalaba wake, nikijua kwamba yeye alikuwa Mkatoliki. Kwa hivyo taifa hili la Kenya na mabunge yetu tumepoteza viongozi shupavu, viongozi ambao michango yao, haswa Malulu katika elimu, alichangia pahali pakubwa sana, na mheshimiwa Cheptumo amechangia sana katika zile kamati alizokuwa, hata ile kamati ya masuala ya kisheria. Kwa hivyo
Mishi, time yake imekwisha. Ferdinand.
Mr. Speaker, on my behalf, on the behalf of the people from Kwanza and Trans Nzoia, I want to take this opportunity to say, to send my condolences to my brother Moses Indenji, because he even came to my place in 2019 and helped me do some fundraising. He was a very dedicated man. We always met at the church down here. It's a Catholic, and there was a devoted Catholic church follower. You can see he had also always having a rosary. And we have missed somebody who was very intelligent. When it came to education matters, he would offer very good advice. And therefore, I want to take this opportunity to say pole to the family. And of course, William Cheptumo also. We came together here in 2013, and he was a very dedicated contributor to most of the issues in this house. And therefore, people in Baringo, I think, have missed a very intelligent person. And therefore, also take this opportunity to send my personal condolence to the family of Honorable William Cheptumo. And I want to take this opportunity also to say we have missed very important people, and therefore may the Lord actually place them in the eternal of His. Thank you.
Thank you, Naisula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise also to pass my sincere condolences to the families, relatives, friends, and also the constituents of Honorable Malulu Ijendi of Malala constituency, and also Honorable William Cheptumo of the Senator of Baringo County. I was privileged to work with the two gentlemen, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Ijendi, I was the chairperson of the Regional Integration Committee in the 12th Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And later, I also served under Honorable Cheptumo when he was the chairman of JLAC. I must say that this country and their constituents have lost very dedicated legislatures in this House, Mr. Speaker. And I must say that there are some of the people who worked in silence. They were never noisemakers. They used to work silently in their areas where they've been elected. They had clean politics, Mr. Speaker, based on issues. And also in the committees, I saw both gentlemen very dedicated, Mr. Speaker. And so it is not only their families who have lost, and it is not only the people who elected them, but the entire country, Mr. Speaker, have lost two great gentlemen, Mr. Speaker. And I must say that in your condoling with their families, Mr. Speaker, you gave a true tribute of who the two gentlemen were, Mr. Speaker, and in them we shall dearly miss them, and we will also remember and learn a lot from their leadership, Mr. Speaker. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, John Makali.
Give me the mic. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and on behalf of the great people of Kandui constituency to eulogize the late Honorable Malulu Ijendi. Honorable Malulu Ijendi was a true representative of the people. He was a man who actually never shied away from his faith. Honorable Malulu Ijendi was our senior, and he was my neighbor here in Parliament. We could consult at very, very short notice. Honorable Malulu Ijendi was a real humble man, was an icon of humility. And the only thing we can be able to do, Honorable Speaker, as we send off Honorable Malulu Ijendi, is to remember what he adeptly stood for. He adeptly stood for passing legislation to assist the village managers and the village elders so they can also be able to get some money arising from the service they give to our people. So as we eulogize and send off Honorable Malulu Ijendi, honorable members, we must send a gift to Honorable Malulu wherever he goes by passing the legislation which he adeptly pushed for in this House. He also contributed immensely in the education sector, and this House is poorer by the passing on of the Honorable Malulu Ijendi. I take this opportunity to say pole sana to the people of Malava and say may he go in peace. And as we eulogize also the Honorable Baringo Senator, we wish to say that I never had an opportunity to work with him, but from the records held in this particular House and in the Senate, he was such a very sharp and fine legal mind. May the people of Baringo also be consoled due to the loss of the Honorable Cheptumo. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Murugara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, allow me, on behalf of the people of Tharaka constituency, Tharaka Nithi County, and my own behalf, to condole with all the primary school teachers for having lost their chairman, Mr. Nzioka, a great guy who served the teachers very diligently. Allow me also to condole with the people of Malava for the loss of one great gentleman by the name Moses Ijendi, who actually we would describe as a gentleman par excellence, because nobody in this House would say they crossed paths with Honorable Malulu Ijendi. He served so well, he was so humble, he was so amiable and humane in everything he did. This is a great loss to the people of Malava, and we condole with them. Allow me also to condole with the people of Baringo County for having lost one of my best friends, Honorable Cheptumo. Cheptumo, we crossed paths in A level as he studied in Kabarnet High School, and I was in Kabarak. We would occasionally meet for debates, and those debates were very fruitful. We then entered the University of Nairobi in 1988 and shared a class with him and also the Deputy Speaker of the House, the Honorable Gladys Boss. Let me disclaim that I was not in that class of those young men she has described. I was in the class of Cheptumo. We were quite serious in studies, and Cheptumo actually did very well. Eventually, we were admitted as advocates, and we practiced along with him. When I came to the House for the tour of the Parliament, I served under Honorable Cheptumo when he was the chairperson of the jail.
Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the great people of Navaholo, on behalf of myself, Honorable Speaker, too, and the Catholic fraternity, Honorable Speaker, allow me to pass a message of condolence to the family, friends, and relatives of the late Honorable Malulu Injendi. Honorable Speaker, I share religion with Mheshimiwa Injendi. I also share family issues with Mheshimiwa Injendi, Honorable Speaker. His wife and my wife happen to be sisters. And Honorable Speaker, when I was called upon to be with him at his hour of need in hospital, I felt being together with my brother. And indeed, I saw, Honorable Speaker, the dark times of Mheshimiwa Malulu, and also when he has rested, Honorable Speaker. I want also to thank the Parliamentary Service Commission, Honorable Speaker, for the good work they did for us up to yesterday. It was immense. They persevered. And Honorable Speaker, it cannot go without appreciating them for their input. Honorable Speaker, I worked here very well with Mheshimiwa Malulu as a person who understood the people of Malava, whom I neighbor with. As a neighbor, we were very good. We worked together. And Honorable Speaker, the greatest moment I wish to remember Mheshimiwa Malulu is in 2017, Honorable Speaker, when the entire region, Honorable Speaker, was in COD. But we came through a very difficult time and held each other's hand and went through as Jubilee MPs. That was a moment, and Honorable Speaker, much time we used to do was to sit with him and he would pray for us. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of Honorable Cheptumo, allow me to really wish the people of Baringo that indeed, Honorable Cheptumo, I served with him twice in the 11th Parliament and 12th Parliament. And Honorable Speaker, many a times we used to refer to him as a walking dictionary because it was a working constitution, Honorable Speaker, because whenever the Speaker and then the Honorable Muturi could want to raise an issue of constitutionalism, he was there to help interpret the Constitution of.
Thank you. Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Kitui South and on my own behalf, Honorable Speaker, I would like to join you and the House in condoling with our two colleagues, the Honorable Malulu Ijendi and the Honorable Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker.
Odinga as Kenya's candidate for the chairperson of African Union Commission. Noting that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga's candidature for the position of chairperson was not only his personal ambition but a symbol of Kenya's deep commitment to the goals of the African Union and its desire to participate in shaping the continent's future. Commending the government of Kenya led by His Excellency the President for a robust campaign in support of the candidate, reinforced by the continental integration and cooperation and guided by Kenya's foreign policy. Further commending the remarkable achievement by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga for emerging runners-up in the election of the chairperson of the AU on Saturday, 15th of February 2025, and recognizing that the need to sustain Kenya's growing prominence on the continental stage and advocacy for a more united, prosperous, self-reliant Africa, in resonance with the aspirations of millions of Africans who seek to see the continent empowered to chart its own course in the global arena. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its profound thanks to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga for demonstrating unwavering commitment to service of Africa by offering his candidature for the position of chairperson of African Union Commission, for his leadership in advancing Pan-African unity, for his dedication to the development and integration of the African continent, and for his distinguished attempt at the election. 2, records its thanks to His Excellency the President William Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Kenya for endorsing Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga as Kenya's candidate for the election as a chairperson of Africa Union Commission, and for coordinating the campaign and support in his candidature. 3, records its congratulations to His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf on his election as a chairperson of the Commission on Saturday, 15th of February, 2025.
Is the next notice of motion? Who called you to move to the dispatch box? Proceed, Senator Faki.
I was told the next motion. So, celebrating the life of the late Leonard Mambo Mbotela, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That are aware that the late Leonard Mambo Mbotela, a renowned media personality, passed away on the 7th of February 2025 at the age of 84 years, cognizant that he had an illustrious career in media spanning over 5 decades and was one of the most influential voices in Kenyan radio, especially through his long-running radio and television program, Je Huu Ni Ungwana. Further, cognizant that his command of the Kiswahili language. Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised the motion is in English. Further, cognizant that his command of the Kiswahili language kept Kenyans informed on many topics.
Senator Mohammed.
Yes.
You know you are confusing the House, the Senate.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Why are you amazed? Because that is your motion.
Yes, it's my motion, yes.
Who interpreted it into...
I will.
Into
When I move the motion tomorrow, I will move it in Kiswahili, Mr. Speaker, sir. Further, cognizant that his command of the Kiswahili language kept Kenyans informed on many topics, while his exceptional football commentaries on radio brought joy to many people and popularized the sport at a time when live football on television was rare. Appreciating that the lasting legacy that he leaves in the media industry and the high esteem in which he was held by colleagues and persons from all walks of life. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Mr. Mbotela, records its celebration and appreciation of his remarkable life, and extends its heartfelt sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, and the nation at large. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The next notice of motion from the Chairperson Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds. Actually, we have several.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I have 5 notices of motion.
Just proceed and give notice.
Allow me to read all of them. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on its consideration of audit reports for the financial years 2018-2019, which is Volume 4, 2019-2020, which is Volume 5, and 2020-2021, which is Volume 6, for the following water service providers laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 29th May 2024. 1. Busia Water and Sewerage Services Company Limited, E10 Tambachi Water and Sewerage Company Limited, Kirinyaga Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Malindi Water and Sewerage Company Limited, Migori Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Mombasa Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Nanyuki Water and Sanitation Company Limited, and Nithi Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on its consideration of the audit report for the financial years 2018-2019, Volume 6, 2019-2020, Volume 7, and 2020-2021, Volume 9, for Eldama Ravine, Eldoret, Embu, Githunguri, Homa Bay, Kahuti, Kakamega, Kapenguria, Kapsabet, Karuri, Nandi, Kericho, Kiambu, Kibwezi, Makindu, Kikuyu, Kitui, Lamu, Limuru, Madira, Matungulu, Kangundo, Booni, Meru, Municipality of Machakos, Muranga, Muranga South, Naivasha, Nakuru Rural, Nakuru Town, Narok, Olkalau, Olekajado, Odhaya, Mukurueni, Ruiru, Juja, Sibo, Tavevo, Tetu, Abadea, and Water, Sanitation and Sewerage Company, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 22nd October 2024. The third notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion: that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit report of the following county bursary funds for the year 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2021-2022. Number 1, Baringo County Education Bursary and Scholarship Fund. Number 2, Bomet County Bursary Fund. Number 3, Bomet County Education Revolving Fund. Number 3, Bungoma County Education Support Scheme. Number 5, Elgeyo Marakwet County Education Fund. Number 6, Garissa County Scholarship Fund. Number 7, Homa Bay County Bursary Fund. Number 8, Kajiado County Bursary Grants and Scholarship Fund. Number 9, Kericho County Bursary Fund. Number 10, Kiambu County Education Bursary Fund. Number 11, Kilifi Ward Scholarship Fund. Number 12, Kirinyaga County Education Bursary Fund. Number 13, Kisii County Bursary Fund. Number 14, Kwale County Bursary Fund. Number 15, Laikipia County Bursary Fund. Number 16, Lamu County Bursary and Scholarship Fund. Number 16, Machakos County Bursary Fund. Number 17, Makueni County Bursary Fund. Number 18, Mandera County Education Bursary Fund. Number 19, Marsabit County Education Fund. Number 20, Migori County Ward Development Fund. Number 21, Mombasa County Elimu Fund. Number 22, Nakuru County Bursary Fund. Number 23, Nandi County Bursary Fund. Number 24, Narok County Bursary Fund. Nyamira County Education Bursary Fund. Nyandarua County Bursary Fund. Nyeri County Elimu Fund. Samburu County Education Fund. Siaya County Education Bursary Fund. Taveta County Education Fund. Tana River County Ward Bursary Fund. Tharaka-Nithi County Bursary Development Fund. Trans Nzoia County Elimu Bursary Fund. Turkana County Education and Skills Development Fund. Uasin Gishu County Bursary and Skills Support Fund. Uasin Gishu County Education Revolving Fund. Vihiga County Education Fund. Wajir County Bursary Fund. And finally, West Pokot County Bursary Fund, laid on the table of the Senate on the Thursday, 5th December 2024. The fourth notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, bear with me. I'm the chair of a very hard-working committee. So the reports are many. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion: that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on County Public investments and special funds on the consideration of audit report of the following county hospitals for the financial years 2021-2022. Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, Karatina Sub-County Hospital, Kilifi Health Empowerment Fund, Kinango Sub-County Hospital, Kwale Sub-County Hospital, Longisa County Referral Hospital, Lungalunga Sub-County Hospital, Migori County Level 4 Hospital, Musambweni Sub-County Hospital, Mount Kenya Sub-County Hospital, Mukurueni Sub-County Hospital, and Odhaya Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I wish to give notice of the following motion: that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of the audit report of the following municipalities for the financial years ended 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and 2022-2023. Financial year 2020-2021. The following municipalities: Eldoret, Kisii, Kitale, Lamu, Mwatate, Rumuruti. Financial year 2021-2022. The following municipalities: Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisii, Kitale, Lamu, Migori, Mumias, Murang'a, Mwatate, Rongo, Rumuruti. And C, financial years 2022-2023. The following municipalities: Eldoret, Kakamega, Kitale, Migori, Mumias, Murang'a, Rongo, Rumuruti, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, the busy chairman. Honorable Senators, I want to give some guidance on the business before us. So the other notices of motion from Roman 7 to Roman 12 will defer until tomorrow. Questions and statements and under number 7, we defer them up to tomorrow. And then we go to under number 8, motion. Then we proceed with the normal business. The reason why I've suspended these statements up to tomorrow is that members were here, but now they have been disoriented somehow. So I don't want to drop any business of any member because the consequences are there for 3 months. Therefore, these statements will be read out tomorrow. So we proceed to order number 8.
Order number 8, motion celebrating the life of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move the following motion, which is a celebration of the life of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo. That aware that the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County, passed away on Sunday, February the 16th, 2025, at the age of 57, while undergoing treatment. Cognizant that the late William Cheptumo served as a member of Baringo North constituency in the National Assembly for 3 terms from 2008 to 2022, during which time he also served as an Assistant Minister of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs from 2008 to 2013, Chairperson on the Committee of Delegated Legislation, members of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, the House Business Committee, and Committee on Pensions 2013 to 2017, and the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs from 2017 to 2022. Further cognizant that the late William Cheptumo was elected Senator for Baringo County in 2022 and continued with his stellar legislative work in the Senate, having sponsored many businesses, amongst them a motion on the declaration of cattle rustling and banditry as a national disaster and establishment of a special fund for victims, which was adopted by the Senate on 30th of May 2024, and served as the chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations, and as a member of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights, and that of the Land, Environment, and Natural Resources, which positions he served until his demise on 16th of February 2025. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Honorable William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County and the chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations, records its appreciation for his contribution to public service spanning over 2 decades, recognizes the high esteem in which he was held by his colleagues from across the political divide, and the humble, principled, and dedicated manner in which he undertook his duties, and offers its profound sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, Baringo County, and the nation at large. Mr. Speaker, this is an extremely difficult exercise. If you had asked me that a few, perhaps weeks or days ago, that part of the business that we'll be considering on a solemn afternoon like this will be to pass a message of condolences on any of our 67 colleagues, Mr. Speaker, it will be the last thing off the top of my mind. But such is life, Mr. Speaker, that we don't have control, control, Mr. Speaker, of what happens, and unfortunately, we have lost our distinguished colleague, the Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo. It's really unfortunate, it's tragic, it's a big loss, Mr. Speaker, but as the Bible tells us, few are the days of every human being, and before any human life begins, it is so written, the day that it shall begin, up to the day where life comes to an end. Our colleague has left us, Mr. Speaker, and we want to do this great honor that Senate has established a very solemn tradition of ensuring that in the unfortunate occurrence of loss of a colleague, that we grant an opportunity to all of us to commiserate with his family, his constituents, his friends, do a recording of all the things that we say about him, and have it sent to the family. Mr. Speaker, perhaps that is why many colleagues were wondering earlier, why, because we had another colleague from the National Assembly that we lost, why we had to do a separate motion, is because Senate, in its wisdom, established this distinct tradition. And if you go through the archives of all the colleagues that we have lost, you'll find what their colleagues at that particular time said about them. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge colleague senators to take time to say what they know, how they feel about Senator Cheptumo's loss and the things that they will remember him for. When we visited with the family yesterday, the daughter, that young girl called Chepto, asked of us, Mr. Speaker, that we say what we know about their father as a politician and the many things that they want to know about how we worked with him. Mr. Speaker, I believe that as colleagues, we feel this loss at a very deep level. I do not know if you will find, unlike many of us, Mr. Speaker, you will find a colleague who will tell you that we crossed paths with Cheptumo, disagreed, and perhaps exchanged word wrongly. You will never find, Mr. Speaker. This was a very peaceful character, humble, had experience and age on his side, wisdom to the maximum, and interacted with colleagues across the aisle with maximum decorum, Mr. Speaker. There's a lot for us, especially the younger legislators, to learn from him. For citizens to elect you for 1, 2, 3, and 4 times, Mr. Speaker, it confirms that there is something in your character that they appreciate. The people of Baringo saw greatness in this man. And we that have served with him in this house, Mr. Speaker, can attest and confirm that indeed this was a great human being. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, we are referring to him as the late, which is life and its many turns, Mr. Speaker. But we want to confirm to the family that the many great memories that we share with this distinguished leader shall remain with us. I celebrate Senator Cheptumo for his humility, Mr. Speaker, an extremely humble man that despite my relatively young age compared to him, there is no day, Mr. Speaker, that we disagreed and he either pulled the age card, Mr. Speaker, on me or tried to shut down when he held a contrary view. Always, Mr. Speaker, humble to a fault, reminded me when he disagreed on any particular position or issue, he will walk into the office, slow, the way William Cheptumo is known to walk, and say, leader, I think you should reconsider your position on this because of A, B, C, D. It's something worth emulating, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure those that served under him in the National Security and Defense and Foreign Relations Committee can say a thing or two about him, Mr. Speaker. I mentioned yesterday when we went to his family, Mr. Speaker, that this gentleman, Senator William Cheptumo, was also very funny, though silent, that he appreciated humor that came with the work of politics that we do. That there is a particular clip of a young man in Baringo County when he was seeking to serve as a senator, going for his 4th term, who was recorded on video, ridiculing him and trying to say that how can we promote someone to go to Form 4, meaning to get a 4th term, while there is no water, and listed so many other things. When he eventually made it here, I used to refer to him as Form 4, and he'd laugh about it, despite the fact that the circumstances under which he got that particular title. A good lesson to us, that as we serve in public service, not everybody will agree with us. Many people will criticize us, but Senator Cheptumo never took offense in that particular issue. There are many things that I'd wish to say, Mr. Speaker, but I know we still get the occasion with his family, with his friends, when we move on Saturday, the 1st of March, to lay him to rest in Baringo. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time, I want to grant opportunity to the rest of my colleagues to also have a chance to say something about Senator William Cheptumo. I thank you. May his soul rest in peace. We continue to pray with his family. Commiserations also to the people of Baringo who have lost a great leader, and I believe that God will find way of granting them comfort. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request the minority leader, Senator Wambua, Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Wambua of Kitui, to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Senator Wambua Enoch.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to second the motion celebrating the life of the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo. The Speaker, as the majority leader said, it is not easy to stand on the floor today and speak about Senator Cheptumo in past tense. It is not easy, Mr. Speaker, but we pray that God will continue to strengthen his family and strengthen us, his colleagues, as we prepare for the final send-off. The Speaker, I stand here to give a very personal account and testimony of my interaction with Senator Cheptumo. The Speaker, it will be remembered that sometimes last year, my county suffered several attacks from bandits, especially Camoadas, and we had serious problems. We lost a lot of lives. I spoke to Senator Cheptumo, who was then chairing the Security Committee of the Senate, and I was shocked by the speed at which he acted on the matter. First, when I mentioned to him and showed him images of what was happening, Senator Cheptumo and I walked across the road to the office of the CS for Interior to register his disappointment that Kenyans could be killed in the manner that the people of Kitui are being killed by bandits. Immediately after that, Mr. Speaker, can you, Mr. Speaker, I have a request to make. Mr. Speaker, I have a request to make. Mr. Speaker, we are mourning a colleague. I would just wish that we just do this quietly and silently in honor of our colleague, if that is possible, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we went to the office of the CS for Interior, and when we came back to the Senate, right away, Senator Cheptumo organized a trip to Kitui County, specifically to Mother Ward, where we had that problem. Mr. Speaker, I remember you were a part of that delegation, and I think Senator Mbogwa also was a part of that delegation. We went to Mother. We had a meeting with the security team, but again, Senator Cheptumo was not satisfied with the meeting that we had with the security team and insisted that we must go and speak to the people in the market, in Mother Market, to listen to the views of the people who are affected by the bandit attack. And I remember a few colleagues were asking him whether we could take a break to have lunch, and he said, we are not going to have lunch until we speak to every person that has been affected by this thing. Mr. Speaker, that was Senator Cheptumo, a man that put duty first, a man who never believed in political divisions or differences when it came to national duty. Mr. Speaker, today we are mourning a great man, a great Kenyan, a great leader. So, Mr. Speaker, on my behalf and on behalf of the people of Kitui County, and specifically the people of Mother Ward, I want to pass our condolences to the family, friends, and relatives of Senator William Cheptumo. The Speaker, as he condoled the family, I also shared another important aspect in life with Senator Cheptumo. I am an elder of the African Inland Church in Wilson Airport, AIC Wilson Airport. Senator Cheptumo was an elder at the African Inland Church in Langata. Both belong to the same district church council. And so as a church, the African Inland Church, we have also lost a very dependable, reliable church elder. The Speaker, to the African Land Church, through the presiding bishop, Reverend Abraham Olwa, and the Nairobi area bishop, Reverend Joshua Kemoyo, we also offer our condolences to the church. The Speaker, with those many remarks, I pray to God that he shall continue to strengthen and comfort the family of our departed colleague, and that his soul shall rest in God's eternal peace. The Speaker, I second.
Honourable Senators, I propose the question that aware that the late Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County, passed away on February 16, 2025 at the age of 57 while undergoing treatment. Cognizant that the late William Cheptumo served as a member of Baringo North Constituency in the National Assembly for 3 terms from 2008 to 2022, during which time he also served as an Assistant Minister of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs 2008-2013, Chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, member of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, the House Business Committee and the Committee on Pensions 2013 to 2017, and the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs 2017 to 2022. Further, cognizant that the late William Cheptumo was elected Senator for Baringo County in 2022 and continued with his stellar legislative work in the Senate, having sponsored many business, among them a motion on declaration of cattle rustling and banditry as a national disaster and establishment of a special fund for victims, which was adopted by the Senate on 30th May 2024, and served as the chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, and as a member of the Standing Committee of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, and that of Land, Environment and Natural Resources, which positions he served until his demise on 16th February 2025. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Honorable William Kipkorir Cheptumo, the Senator for Baringo County and Chairperson of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, records its appreciation for his contribution to public service, spanning over 2 decades, recognizes the high esteem in which he was held by colleagues from across the political divide, and the humble, principled and dedicated manner in which he undertook his duties, and offers its profound sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, Baringo County, and the nation at large. Honorable Senators, Honorable Senators, the system is not working, so with the raise of hands, I will call upon the Senators. Just one moment, please, Senators. You know, I cannot write that fast. I already have some Senators who are going to start immediately, and because I know there's a lot of interest and almost everybody would want to speak, can we agree at a time limit for how long we can speak? Okay. Let us go with 5 minutes. I'm sure some members will have a lot to say about our late colleague. So we'll cap it at 5 minutes, and please let's try and be as brief and concise as possible. So I will start with Senator Sifuna.
I thank you, Honourable Speaker. As you know that this is my first term of Parliament, so I have only had 2 years, about 2.5 years to interact with the late Senator Cheptumo. And indeed, as the Majority Leader confirmed, yesterday when we went to the residence and we met his wife, Anne, his daughter Chepto, and his son, Andrew, both very brilliant young children. Honourable Speaker, there was a request by the young Chepto that we share anecdotes about our experience with their father in this particular house. I remember when I received this news, I put out a tweet saying that I remember Senator Cheptumo as one of the cooler heads in the Senate. And his son asked me what I meant by that. And I explained to him that sometimes, and especially in the early days of this house, in the Swahili slang we say, mambo ilichemuka. And I do remember that there were very heated exchanges here because we had various fights. But Honorable Cheptumo was always the cool head. And the Majority Leader can attest as well that he had the capacity to be able to reach across the aisle and speak to us, those of us who were not elected on his political party. So, Honorable Speaker, my experience with him is that he was a consummate gentleman, that he was a gentle soul and a very cool head, somebody who was something of a father figure here, and I think it is because of his length of experience in these Houses of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Orange Democratic Movement Party, of which I'm the Secretary General, and as you know, in 2008, Honorable Cheptumo was elected on an ODM ticket, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the party leadership, including my party leader, the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the people of Nairobi and my family, to say pole to the family of the late Cheptumo and to assure them of our greatest consideration during this difficult time of mourning. Honorable Speaker, my last experience is that I thought during that time when things were heated in this House, there was tendency of people to rise on very frivolous points of order, especially against me. I'm not crying victim, but I do succinctly remember that some of the most genuine points of order when I was on the floor of this House, especially on constitutional matters, used to come from Senator Cheptumo. And he respected the rules of this House, and he only rose on points of order that actually were genuine. So I want to take this opportunity to say pole, and may God rest his soul in eternal peace. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Wafula.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii ambayo umenipa kutoa rambirambi na pole kwa familia ya Mheshimiwa Cheptumo. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusema hivi. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, nenda salama. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, mauti yamekuvika njuga. Nenda salama shujaa. Unakokwenda hatujui, lakini Mungu anajua. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, umepigana vita hapa katika Senate kupambana dhidi ya magaidi, waporaji wa mifugo ya watu wako kule nyumbani. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, umetunga sheria na katiba mpya ambayo tunashughulikia sasa. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, umekuwa baba, umekuwa uti wa mgongo wa familia. Shujaa Cheptumo, nenda salama. Tutakutana baadaye. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, palipokuwa na bugdha na joto la kisiasa hapa Senate, Mheshimiwa Cheptumo ulituliza boli. Ulitupa mawaidha, ukatukana kwamba hasira za mkizi furaha ya mvuvi. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, sasa umetuacha wapweke. Umetuacha na simanzi. Umetuacha tukibubujikwa na machozi wakati huu mgumu wa kisiasa. Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, nenda salama. Wasalimu waliotangulia hapa Senate, waambie tutafuata nyayo zao siku moja, lakini kwa sasa tutafuata yale uliotangulia. Safiri salama Cheptumo, tutakutana baadaye. Katika usanjari huo, Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa pia kutoa rambirambi kwa familia ya Malulu Injendi. Kwa familia hiyo sasa, Mheshimiwa Spika, wamepoteza watu watatu. Ndugu mkubwa wa Malulu Injendi, Malulu mwenyewe, na dadake muda mchache uliopita amekata roho katika hospitali kule Kakamega. Mheshimiwa Malulu, uliweza kusoma chuo kikuu nilichosoma. Uliweza kuwa mwenyekiti wa halmashauri na bodi za shule kama mimi mwalimu. Mheshimiwa Malulu, wapigania watu wako ujenzi wa miundombinu, shule, barabara. Ulikuwa mkatoliki wa imani. Mheshimiwa Malulu, tulitunga sheria za ufugaji na upanzi wa miwa na usagaji wa sukari, tukitaraji kwamba wakulima wako wa Malava watanufaika. Tulikuwa kwako na Mheshimiwa Rais, tukapeana chuo ama shule anuai ya Chanderema, na wewe ulikuwa unajua kwamba watoto wetu wakinufaika katika masomo, siku zao za usoni zitakuwa salama. Mheshimiwa Malulu, tembea salama. Luere mwana wa mama, tutakutana Mungu akipenda. Asante sana na Mungu awalinde. Thank you.
Senator Oburu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. for the opportunity to express my heartfelt condolences to the family of the late William Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, sir, William Cheptumo was not just a member and a colleague in Parliament, he was a personal friend. And Mr. Speaker, we have been with him in this Parliament for a long, long time. He found me in Parliament. He has served more than 4 terms. If you combine Yala, I'm now serving my 7th term. Mr. Speaker, he has been a very, very steadfast legislator. Cheptumo has been not only a steadfast legislator, but also a very, very, very consistent friend to many. He has developed relationships which were very deep. I can say that deep waters, still waters, run deep. Cheptumo was still waters which ran deep, because he knew the length and the depth of all the legislative agenda which was in this Parliament. But he also developed very deep relationships with members, where he became leader, where he was chairman. He was always very, very humble and very, very influential. He was influential, Mr. Speaker, because he could listen. Cheptumo used to listen, and he was a very good listener. If you want to be a good leader, you should be a good listener. You should not be lecturing on every issue and pretending to be a know-it-all, that you know everything in every subject. And Cheptumo proved this, and he came from an area which was very, very volatile, because that is an area where there is some conflict between communities. But he always stood above those conflicts. He always went and tried his best to solve the conflicts in a peaceful manner, and he worked for peace for his people. Mr. Speaker, he was also a very good family man, and he brought his family in a religious manner, and they are very, very humble. Mr. Speaker, this is because this man was a good leader, and he has shown this country leadership, and we hope that the Almighty God will place his great soul in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Mundingi.
Asanti Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia kwa seneta mwenzetu ambaye aliaga dunia. Yangu ni rambirambi yangu, mimi seneta wa Embu County na watu wa Embu County, tukisema ni pole sana kwa watu wa Baringo kwa sababu ya kuachwa na ule ambaye mlichagua. Asanti Bwana Spika, kulingana na historia ambaye tumeifuatilia siku ya leo, Mheshimiwa Senator William Cheptumo amechaguliwa kwa mihula 4, na ni pole sana kwa watu wa Baringo kwa sababu kuchagua mtu kwa mihula 4 sio kitu ya rahisi. Ni kumaanisha alikuwa anafanya kazi na wizara zote, akina mama, wazee, watoto na makanisa yote. Kwa hiyo ningeomba Bwana Spika, watu wa Baringo muweze kuvumilia yale yametendeka, kwa sababu tunajua katika ulimwenguni Bwana Spika hakuna mtu ataishi, sisi tutaenda. Kwa hiyo ningeomba watu wa Baringo muombe vizuri kwa juu ya familia ya Mr. Cheptumo kwa sababu ya ameondoka. Ya pili Bwana Spika, ni kuomba watu wa Baringo wakati ule uchaguzi itafika, mtaweza kuchagua Sunjaa kama Senator Cheptumo, kwa sababu hata nakumbuka mwaka wa 2020, mwaka wa 2000 ile wakati ulichaguliwa, alikuwa anang'ang'ana na kinara wa siasa Bwana Spika, ambaye ni kijana ambaye ni ya rais mstaafu na alikuwa pesa nyingi. Lakini nyinyi watu wa Baringo hamkuweza kuangalia zile pesa, Hamukuangalia familia, hamukuangalia nini, mliangalia usunja wa mtu ambaye ule angeweza kufanya kazi. Bwana Spika, mimi niko na huzuni sana chukua watu wa Embu County. Kwa sababu nakumbuka wakati Cheptumo alikuwa mgonjwa, kamati ya security mara mingi imekuwa ikiahirisha kutembea katika Embu County, Tharaka Nithi na Meru juu ya kitu yaitwa Murasi tukomugoka. Ningeomba ule atachaguliwa kwa hii kamati ya security aweze kufanya kazi kama ile Cheptumo angeweza kufanya security na kuangalia mambo kama hii. Kwa sababu sisi tulikuwa tunamngoja kila wakati, kamati ikitengenezwa siku ile itakuja, Cheptumo amekuwa mgonjwa, inaahirishwa. Kwa hiyo ningeomba sisi wote tuko na huzuni, lakini kwa sababu kifo hakuna kusimamisha. Ingekuwa ni area ya hospitali sisi tungesanga, watu wengine wangechanga, lakini sasa kifo hakuna mtu anaweza kusimamisha. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi Senator wa Embu County na watu wa Embu County ni pole sana kwa watu wa Baringo. Hapo tu Bwana Spika, ningesema pole kwa MP ambaye ni wa Marapa ambaye ni Njendi. Katika senator wote MP wale katika parliament najua ni senator ambaye ni mtu ako na usunja ya ukanisa, na hapo ndio tulikuja tukajuana naye. Kwa hiyo nasema watu wa Marapa ni pole sana, hata nyinyi, kwa sababu kifo Mungu aweze kuwapeleka pahali pasuri, lakini ningeomba watu wa Marapa na watu wa Baringo muweze, wakati uchaguzi itakuja, mchague senator mzuri na MP mzuri. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, mimi na watu wa Embu County tunasema ni pole, na pia tunasema Mungu aweze kuwarasa pahali pazuri ambapo wakati wa kuvuka, wakati wa Yesu Kristo akikuja, tutaweza kuvuka pamoja na wale. Asante Bwana Spika. Asante. Mimi Daktari Mundigi, Senator wa Embu County.
Senator Fatuma Dolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to join my colleagues in saying pole to our brother, late Senator Cheptumo. On my behalf and the people for Isiolo, I say pole. It's not easy, Mr. Speaker. I interacted with Senator Cheptumo 2015 when we were asked, both National Assembly and the Senate, to chair the controversial National Security Act Amendment Bill. That was 2015, and that is when I actually met Senator Cheptumo, when he was a member of parliament then. Mr. Speaker, I have interacted with so many colleagues in this house, but none like Senator Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo was a person who is very humble, down to earth, very peaceful, very consultative, and you will not find him anytime annoyed. Mr. Speaker, I worked with Senator Cheptumo in the Security Committee where he was the chair. And he had a lot of respect for everyone, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when he fell ill, Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo is not somebody who will tell you I'm sick. He will always say, niko sawa tu, naendelea vizuri. Many a times we really wanted to visit him at home, even when he was in the hospital and when he was at home. He will say he's okay. We tried even booking an appointment to go and see him at home. He says no. He's somebody who is really doesn't want to disturb people, Mr. Speaker. He was committed to issues of insecurity in his county, issues of insecurity in many parts of this country, issues of cattle rustling, issues of minority. And I remember one time in the Committee of National Security and Foreign Relations, he said we should even establish a welfare committee within the committee. That is how much Senator Cheptumo was concerned about welfare of each and everyone. Mr. Speaker, you can imagine sometimes we have an early meeting, but Senator Cheptumo will tell you, Senator Dulo, can you chair a meeting for me today? Because it's hard for me to wake up early before 9 o'clock. That, concern that he will not make it and he will request somebody else to sit in for him. He will struggle to come to the house. He will struggle to come to the house because he doesn't want to offend anybody. Mr. Speaker, I know it's not easy, especially for the family, being the father of a family. And in life, Mr. Speaker, the worst loss is the loss of a father and the loss of a husband. And I believe that is what the family is going through. Baringo, yes, they have lost a leader. And of course, by the time, even before he is buried, people will be running who will succeed him. That is how life is. But for the family, nobody will replace Senator Cheptumo for them, for the rest of their life, and also the family members. We pray for the family. It's not easy, and I hope they will overcome it. It's part of life. And everybody is going to test the death in our lives. Mr. Speaker, I say pole to the family, and we need to hold together as colleagues. We have lost many colleagues in this house, and every time Senate stood with each other. And I hope Majority Leader will be able to announce the date of the fundraiser for the family. We should be able to be there, all of us, to contribute to it. And we pray that God will rest his soul in peace. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Joe Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also come to eulogize and pass my message of condolence to the family, friends of Senator Cheptumo and the people of Baringo in general. Mr. Speaker, we thank God for the 57 years that he gave to Senator Cheptumo. We know that many are born and they never attain even the age of months. Some of them die in the maternity wards, Mr. Speaker. And so I think we need to thank God for the 57 years that he gave to Senator Cheptumo. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo achieved a lot in just 57 years. Elected 4 times, 3 times in the National Assembly and 1 time in the Senate. Not many people are able to achieve that kind of feat. And so even as we mourn Senator Cheptumo, again, we need to thank God for the many achievements that he gave to Senator Cheptumo within a very short time of his life. Mr. Speaker, I served with the Senator Cheptumo in the liaison committee, which is the liaison of chairs. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo will not serve in that committee again because he's no longer with us. Mr. Speaker, I will also not serve in that committee because I'm not chair again. But Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo, the silent gentleman, the man who only spoke when he was sure he had something important or relevant to say, a man who did not speak for the sake of it. Mr. Speaker, this is a man that was special. This is somebody that was able to be very knowledgeable. Somebody who was, Mr. Speaker, never sycophantic. Senator Cheptumo only supported that which needed support, and not just for the sake of pleasing people somewhere else. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, as it has been said here by Senator Dulo, he will be replaced in Baringo at the right time. That is what happens. But the family will never have a father, a husband. Replacements happen, but families suffer. Families will never ever go over this loss, Mr. Speaker. And so I take this time to say, rest in peace, Senator Cheptumo. Go with God. May you find a humble and a good abode in God's hands. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, I joined the House in conveying my condolences to the family of the late Senator Cheptumo. I've had the privilege of being in Parliament with Senator Cheptumo from the 11th Parliament, where I found him, the 12th Parliament, the 13th Parliament, and we have now served in the Senate Liaison Committee. I wish to extend my condolences to the family, especially the children who have been left behind, the spouse, and the direct family members. The people of Baringo have also lost a wise leader. Senator Cheptumo was very influential in this House. He was influential in a very quiet manner. He was not a heckler. He was not a noisemaker. He was not a person who sowed division. Mr. Speaker, you will attest that whenever Senator Cheptumo rose, even on a point of order, it was very substantive. And he went to the standing order and he was able to cite the specific matter that had been offended. He was not frivolous. He was very welcoming. And Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo was a peacemaker. In the Senate Liaison Committee, many a times we proposed very radical measures. You do recall at some point, Mr. Speaker, because of limited financing for committees, the Senate Liaison Committee deliberated and took a position that we are going to suspend the activities of committees. Mr. Speaker, even though that industrial action lasted only one night, but Senator Cheptumo was very useful in the conversations, giving us tips, giving us stories on how they've handled similar matters in the past. May the Lord rest his soul in eternal peace. This House has had its own fair share of tragedy. Mr. Speaker, even as we mourn Senator Cheptumo, we know that the distinguished Speaker of this Senate is mourning his father. We just recently buried the father of Senator Kinyua from Laikipia. And Mr. Speaker, this House, we have lost the late Senator Mutula, the late Senator Kajwang, the late Senator Kabaka, the late Senator Ben Oluoch Okello, the late Senator Gigi Karaoke. These are things that happen. We should not act as if there could be some targeting of the Senate. This is part of life. This is a cycle of life. We pray that the family will be strengthened. We pray that the people of Baringo will also find some comfort, and when the right time comes, they will make a decision to ensure that they continue to be represented. But we want to assure the people of Baringo that even if Senator Cheptumo is not with us today, that their interests will still be catered for by the remaining senators. One area that will be contentious will be the formula for sharing of revenue amongst counties. We want to assure the people of Baringo that even if Senator Cheptumo is not here, and even if they have not made a decision on their next senator, those of us who are remaining will ensure that Baringo does not lose even a single cent in any formula or in any arrangement when it comes to division and allocation of revenue. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I also convey my condolences to the family of the late Malulu Injendi, another member of Parliament with whom I've been here from the 11th, 12th, and 13th Parliament. May the Lord strengthen the people of Kakamega, the people of Baringo, and more so, the family of our good friend, our departed friend, Senator Cheptumo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kinyua.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa Bwana Spika, kwa uchungu na huzuni nataka kuleta risala zangu za rambirambi kwa familia ya mwenda zake William Cheptumo. Bwana Spika, nikubalie kabla sijaleta risala zangu za rambirambi, nataka kuchukua fursa hii kuambia seneti hii shukrani sana, pamoja na wafanyikazi wote wa bunge na bunge la kitaifa Bwana Spika, kwa sababu juzi nilimpoteza baba yangu na seneti hii ilisimama na mimi pamoja na wafanyikazi wa bunge. Kwa hivyo sitaki kuchukulia jambo hilo kwa mzaha, nataka kuwashukuru kutoka pangu rohoni na niwaambie asanti na asanti sana. Bwana Spika, uchungu nilionao wa mimi kumpoteza mzazi, ninaelewa vile vile uchungu wa watoto na bimjane wanaopitia wa seneta wetu Cheptumo. Bwana Spika, Cheptumo ninamjua sana kwa sababu tulikuwa kiti hiki hapa katika bunge, amekuwa jinari yangu kwa miaka hiyo miwili tukiwa hapa. Na sio jirani yangu hapa, Bwana Spika, amekuwa tena ni jirani yangu pale katika gatuzi zetu Laikipia na Baringo, tunapakana. Kwa hivyo mimi na yeye tumekuwa sisi ni kama ndugu wa kufa kuzikana, Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, jambo ambalo tulikuwa tukiongea na yeye sana ni kuhusu usalama Laikipia na Baringo, hasa mambo ya hawa wezi wa mifugo. Na akaniambia kwamba kile ambacho atafanya akiwa kama mwenyekiti ni kujitolea kwa hali na mali, ndio mambo ya usalama uweze kupatikana Laikipia, Bwana Spika. Na nataka kumshukuru Bwana Spika kwa sababu yeye aliongoza kamati yake mpaka Laikipia tukapata askari wa ziada. Kwa hivyo nina kila sababu ya kumshukuru, na ninamkumbuka vile kila wakati tukiketi pale alikuwa akiuliza mambo yanaendelea namna gani Laikipia. Bwana Spika, leo nikiwa nimeketi pale naona kile kiti hayuko, mimi napatwa na huzuni, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu kila wakati tulikuwa tukiongea na yeye. Na si hiyo tu, Bwana Spika, wakati kuna mijadala hapa, kwa sababu yeye ni wakili aliyebombea, Bwana Spika, alikuwa ananipatia mawaidha, ananiambia vile ambavyo yeye anafikiria, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo nina hofu na nina huzuni, Bwana Spika, kwa kumpoteza rafiki na kumpoteza ndugu, Bwana Spika. Sikudhania itafika wakati huu nikuwe nikiongea hapa kumuomboleza rafiki yangu na ndugu yangu Cheptumo, Bwana Spika. Lakini yote 10, Bwana Spika, ni mpaka tukubali mambo ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Na kile ambacho kinanifurahisha, Bwana Spika, hata ijapokuwa alikuwa na miaka 57 peke yake, Bwana Spika, yale aliyotenda ni mengi. Amekuwa ni waziri, amekuwa mwenyekiti wa kamati tofauti, hasa kamati ya usalama. Bwana Spika, mimi nikakumbuka ya kwamba si miaka mingi ambayo utaishi duniani, Bwana Spika, ni vile ambavyo utakavyofanya ukiwa duniani. Bwana Spika, nikisoma katika kitabu kitakatifu cha Mungu, Biblia yangu inaniambia naye Methusela akaishi zaidi ya miaka 900, lakini hakuna kitu alifanya isipokuwa kuishi duniani. Naye Yesu akaishi miaka 33, na inaonyesha mambo aliyofanya, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni vile ambavyo utakavyofanya itakavyokumbukwa. Bwana Spika, sitaki kumsahau Malulu Ijendi, mbunge wa Malaba, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu na yeye amechangia hasa kuhusu huu mswada wa wazee wa mitaani, Bwana Spika. Na ikumbuke vizuri kwa sababu hawa wazee wanasaidia sana katika uongozi, Bwana Spika. Na ni vizuri vile Injendi alikuwa na ule mswada wa kuwakumbuka, Bwana Spika, ndio tuweze angalau kuwapa kinua mgongo waweze kuendelea na kazi ambayo wanapewa kufanya na wananchi, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Spika, na vile vile namkumbuka mimi na yeye tukiwa Katoliki tunafuatilia mambo ya dini na yeye, kwa sababu alikuwa akionyesha kabisa kila wakati nilimuona ameweka rozari yake ameivaa, kusema yeye ni Mkatoliki na haogopi, hana fedheha, na akasimama hivyo. Na mimi najua kwamba hata wakati ameenda binguni, wale walio binguni watamkiri, kwa sababu na yeye alipokuwa duniani alikiri imani. Nashukuru Bwana Spika na nasema asante.
Senator Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in also sending condolences to the family of one of our own here, Senator Cheptumo, William Cheptumo, who passed on this week, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I served with Senator Cheptumo in the National Assembly, and he was such a dedicated, experienced, knowledgeable member of the National Assembly, and he steered several committees, the 2 committees of delegated legislation and the JLAC. And those were one of the most busiest committees in the National Assembly then. I know when you were serving with him in the National Assembly, he came up with legislation which were not very favorable to the Senate. But Mr. Speaker, when he came in here to the Senate, he accepted and apologized to the Senate that he was among the senators who were not very kind to the Senate. So he has gone to the Maker, a man who believed in God, and a man who did the best in terms of promotion of humanity. Mr. Speaker, we know Senator Cheptumo also was a very, very popular leader with his people. You know, in Baringo, the last election, he managed to beat seasoned politicians, including the KANU chairman, Honorable Moi, Gideon Moi. And he was elected to this house first through the ODM party. Those who don't know, Cheptumo joined this house, the National Assembly, in 2007 election as an ODM member for, is it Baringo North. And then later on, he transitioned to 2013, 2017, and now he was elected in 2022 as a senator for Baringo. So we have lost a great leader, a leader who understood the law, a seasoned lawyer, and I just want to express my sincere sadness and condolences to the people of Baringo for losing such an important icon in the society, a man who fought for the problem of cattle rustling in the northern part of the country by bringing even motions to this house to deal with matter. And I wish to request the house that now that we passed that motion on cattle rustling, we need to follow up and ensure that the recommendations that we passed in this house are implemented by the government. I wish to thank the members who have expressed their love for our colleague, that we also need to stand with the family at this critical time. And we also need to think about how well we should honor our departed colleagues. The majority leader has given some insights into that, and I think it's something that the Secretariat can look at it so that we honor our colleague in a very dignified way. Mr. Speaker, I want to wish him well, even as we plan to lay him in due course, and just wish that the Almighty God rest his soul in eternal peace.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to join my colleagues in conveying condolences to the family and the great people of Baringo County for the passing on of our colleague, Honorable Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo. Cheptumo, we were EMATs in the university. He was in Parklands when I was in KU. Honorable Speaker, we cleared A-level at the same time. And I came closely and worked very closely with him from 2007. We both stood in ODM party, but he was lucky to be elected, but I lost 2007. You know, that was the party then for the great people of Rift Valley. And I'm seeing we are also getting married again. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, around 2013 again, he stood, he was elected for the second time, and I came to Parliament. We met in the 11th Parliament. We worked very closely. He was the chair for delegated legislation, where I was a member, and he steered the committee. We passed so many regulations. If there was any issue with the regulations, he would guide the committee that these ones we are not going to pass. We will basically reject, and as a straightforward man that is Cheptumo, Honorable Speaker. Within the same time, from 2013 to 2017, 10 of us in National Assembly from across the country, Honorable Speaker, we formed a caucus to visit our constituencies and fundraise. We gave each member to choose either two functions or one function, where each member will either raise, if it is 2 functions, 50,000 each, or if it is 1 function, it's 100,000, Honorable Speaker. And we moved Baringo twice. They came to Marakwet West. We went to Tesa North, across. And Cheptumo was basically our team leader. We have lost a great man, Honorable Speaker. 2017, 2022, we also came back in the 12th Parliament, and he became the chair of CHAILAC, Honorable Speaker, and there are very many laws that he was able to pass, especially the constitutional laws and the IBC laws, Honorable Speaker, and he stood. And we were members of liaison committee then, because I was the chair of ICT, Honorable Speaker. We want to tell the people of Baringo, Pole sana for the loss of your senator. May the Almighty Lord give you peace, strength, comfort. And Honorable Speaker, again, we met in Senate, and recently, before he became Hill, Honorable Speaker, we had to go to Elgeyo Marakwet County because there is a petition that came to this house from County Assembly of Elgeyo Marakwet County to declare banditry as terrorism. And we were there with Cheptumo. We spoke with our MCs. We also met the governor. And I'm happy that motion was passed. And as Senator Osota said, we need to follow the implementation so that anybody who will engage in basically banditry in the country, they should be treated like a terrorist, Honorable Speaker, because we cannot afford our people to lose lives and to lose livestock because of just this small thing called banditry, which is very backward, Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to tell members we were there yesterday with the family, and on Tuesday, the 25th, is when we have the main Arambe at AIC Milibani. So colleagues, let's all be there to support the family. Thank you very much, and may the Almighty Lord rest his soul in eternal peace.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Seki, have you moved to the minority side? Very well, Senator Seki. And be brief, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also take my this opportunity time to thank you, Honorable Speaker, and to give and convey my heartfelt condolences to the family of Honorable William Cheptumo, who happens to be a good friend of mine. We happened that we were together in one committee of national security. And I want to say that this is a very sad moment to this Senate and to the entire nation, the people of Baringo, whom Senator Cheptumo represents. Honorable Speaker, I happen to be a very close friend to Honorable William Cheptumo, particularly on the wealth and kind of experience that he has in regards to issues of legislations, issues of parliament, and the shared experiences that we shared with him when he was a chair of national security. I want to convey that this gentleman was a very great man, a very humble person, a very knowledgeable person, a person who understands quite a lot of things, particularly when it comes to issues of parliament, procedures and all that. And when he's chairing the committee, he's very passionate, he's very, strong to his points. At times he puts people off, particularly those stakeholders that we invite to committee. And at times, I remember William will engage the National Security Council, the National Police Service Commission, the IG, the CS for Interior, for us to get to understand more and more about the committee and the procedures of government. I remember Mheshimiwa Cheptumo being a colleague who is not jealous, a person who is very passionate, a person who is willing to, to teach or even guide people, correct us, particularly those who are also very new in Parliament. So I want to convey my condolences to the family and to the people of Baringo that this is a great man, and they were not wrong for him to have been elected as a member of the Senate to represent the people of Baringo. Honorable Speaker, I want to I even remember one of the last moments that we had with Honorable Cheptumo when we were when he was chairing a committee on national security on a petition regarding the police who have been injured while they were in service. I remember that particular incident where he almost convenes a meeting of all the insurance companies, NHIF, that is now SHA, and many, many other institutions, which he was trying to bring in the point where he want to understand why NHIF, SHA, has not compensated those people who have been injured, the police that have been injured while they're in service. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that this is a great man. We believe that God will help the family, give them a protection, and strengthen the family at this very sad moment. And going forward, we will continue to be with them and pray for them. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Sir. I also like to join my colleagues in eulogizing our departed colleague. When we came to the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, as first-timers, the so-called ranking members did not spare any moment to make us feel little unknowledgeable. And at times, Mr. Speaker, they treated us with a certain degree of contempt. Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Cheptumo was one of the few who had held our hands, worked with us, and even told us which standing order to invoke when you want to rise up. He would even go to the extent of telling you the Constitution that you should quote. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, was to me most welcoming, and he made us the newcomers feel at home. Mr. Speaker, sir, the likes of Senator Shelagay, the likes who've been here, when they stood here, Mr. Speaker, they made us feel disoriented, and at times they used words that we could not understand, and we wondered whether we'll one day stand and debate in this House. But Senator Cheptumo was one of the few who tell us, just take your time. It will be shaky at the beginning, but with time, you'll master the art of debate. With time, you'll master the art of convincing, and at times even the art of winning a debate. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand here to mourn a colleague who, when this House was faced with one of the most hard decisions, we consulted, and I do recall, Mr. Speaker, he pushed, and near before that moment came, that we have a meeting so that we, as the senior elders in the House, we could give directions to what at that time was threatening to tear the country apart. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, will forever remain entrenched in my heart, a person who looked beyond tribal politics, a man who looked beyond regional politics, a person who thought about the youth, and most importantly, about the integrity and the unity of a country. This is the man that we are eulogizing today. This Senator William Cheptumo, somebody who kept our hope burning even when we thought, as the majority side, that the minority was having their way in way of making a lot of noise. He could use the word tulieni itaisha. That, Mr. Speaker, to me, was the humility. I do remember yesterday, Mr. Speaker, when we went to visit the family, that the kids told us to say something we know about their father. In that, Mr. Speaker, I could tell the pain of them losing their father. Age 57, Mr. Speaker, in African standard, even in the biblical standard, is too young. We know the Bible says we have 70 years to live. But again, Mr. Speaker, this is an occurrence that reminds us we are temporary in this world, our days are numbered, and therefore when we are serving our people, we should do it with a lot of humility and knowing that nobody is guaranteed that you'll have to go see the whole term of 5 years. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I pass my condolences to the family and to my colleagues and to the people of Baringo, I would also want to take the opportunity to mourn with the people of Kakamega who also lost their member of parliament. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, such a moment reminds us that our days are numbered in this world, and therefore we should always, through prayers and supplication, remember that our Creator knows the day that we'll depart. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to end it there by telling the family it is well in the hands of the God. We leave you. We'll continue praying for you. Rest well, Senator William Cheptumo. Thank you.
Professor Ugenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we assembled in the House this afternoon to commiserate with the family of the late William Cheptumo, who was not only a friend, but a classmate, a colleague in the profession, and an outstanding senator serving his 4th term in the House. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo's demise came at a time when we were deeply involved in the elections of the AUC, in the African Union chairperson of the Commission in Addis Ababa. We learned painfully that our colleague had departed, and as we came back to Kenya, we joined his family in mourning and in celebrating his life. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheptumo's demise should be a lesson to this country, a lesson that we need to pull together in the direction of peace, a lesson as this House has shown this afternoon, that we must pull together both the minority side and the majority side on the side that unites this country, Mr. Speaker, sir. In spite, Mr. Speaker, of the loss of the election at the AUC by my party leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, it is instructive that what we learn from the passing of our colleague is that this country needs all of us. Irrespective of the fact that Senator Cheptumo sat on the majority side, the minority side are now joined at the hip in mourning the departure of the senator. In the same vein, Mr. Speaker, sir, even though the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga may not have won the elections at the African Union, we as a country must use this opportunity to pull together because we have a country to run. We must ensure that we join together in working with the leadership of His Excellency President William Ruto to ensure that this country grows to prosperity. And that is the lesson that this brings to us this afternoon. A lesson of peace, a lesson of togetherness, a lesson that we are tied together at the hip as Kenyans and that we must work for the success of this country. We mourn Senator Cheptumo, a good friend, a colleague, and my classmate. May God rest his peace, his soul in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. From the onset, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of my family, the great people of Nandi County, to pass our deepest condolences for the demise of our beloved colleague, Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, famously known in Baringo County by the nickname Lebaluk, or the Egnima in Baringo politics. Mr. Speaker, I commiserate with the wife, with the people of Baringo for losing their beloved senator, who also happened to have been the chairperson of National Security, Foreign Relations and Defense Committee. Mr. Speaker, I've known Senator Cheptumo when we served together in the last session, when I was Senator of Nandi and he was a member of Parliament of Baringo North constituency in Baringo County. Coincidentally, Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Cheptumo served as the counterpart of the Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee in the National Assembly. Myself, Mr. Speaker, I served then, before the infamous de-whipping, as the chairperson of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights in this House, Mr. Speaker. Although I am his junior in profession, Mr. Speaker, sir, both politically and in terms of practice, in the legal practice of this country, Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Cheptumo did not look down upon me. He used to encourage me, and he used to say, itakuwa sawa. Mr. Speaker, after, even when we began, when he was able to be elected as the Senator of Baringo, when, some of us are rambunctious, Mr. Speaker, and we shoot straight from the hip, after an episode, an interlude of weekend, high-octane politics, where I always play number 9, Mr. Speaker, he would tell me, you did well, ulimaliza mtu. Mr. Speaker, and he could laugh about it and we could enjoy about it, Mr. Speaker. So Senator Cheptumo, having served as the chair delegate, he was assistant minister, he was the chair of national security, he was the chair of justice. Mr. Speaker, for 4 elections, Senator Cheptumo has never lost a single election. I think for some of us, we need to study in his school of politics, because how can you survive not to be defeated in 4 straight elections? And we know the Kenyan elections are normally closed, Mr. Speaker. So Senator Cheptumo did best, Mr. Speaker. The family and the children, we are with you in thoughts, Mr. Speaker. And he did a lot, especially in national security, where we're having issues like abduction, issues of extrajudicial killings and forced disappearances, issues of police welfare and national security welfare. He was very passionate. Even, Mr. Speaker, the current Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kanja, was being vetted and approved by the Joint Committee where Senator Cheptumo was the co-chair, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I want to thank him because he was instrumental in the passage of my bill of the prevention of livestock and produce theft, where it is now in the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the people of Baringo and appeal to them. In honor and legacy of Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo Lebeluk, as is known in the politics of Baringo, please maintain peace in Baringo and the entire North Rift in honor of our fallen colleague, because he was a champion against insecurity in that region, Mr. Speaker. In our local language, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the people of Baringo and the family, Mutia Mising, Ngogona Kimnate Jehovah, Ingpete Shujabrira. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Poleni sana.
Senator Hamida.
Asante Bwana Spika, na mimi pia ninasimama hapa kuunga mkono wenzangu kwa kutoa rambirambi ya kumpoteza shujaa mwenzetu mbunge wa Baringo North, Senator William Cheptumo. Kwa niaba ya KEWOSA pia natoa rambirambi, na sote kama wamama wa KEWOSA tunasema pole kwa jamaa na marafiki wa Senator Cheptumo. Kusema kweli sikufanya kazi karibu na yeye Senator Cheptumo, Bwana Spika, lakini nilimjua na tulifanya kazi kwa muda kidogo upande wa komiti ya Shakahola. Lakini hapo ndio niliweza kumjua vizuri na nikaelewa kazi yake vile anaendesha. alikuwa ni mtu wa kutaka kujua uaminifu na kutaka kazi yake iwe safi, ili kusibakie na kichochote ama na doa la kuuliza kwa nini hii kazi hamkuimaliza vizuri. Senator Cheptumo, Bwana Spika, kusema kweli amekufa kishujaa. Alikuwa akija hapa seneti, na ukimuona ni kuwa hata ukimsogelea unamuuliza na kuona kama hausikii vizuri, anakuambia hapana, mimi niko sawa kabisa. Na hata siku moja na nimekuja kuangalia na wenzangu ya kuwa hakuweza kukaa na kujihurumia mwenyewe na kuambia watu wengine kuwa hayuko sawa. Kila mara atakwambia yeye yuko sawa na wala hana ugonjwa wowote. Kwa hivyo tutasema, kusema kweli, hiyo ni kufa kishujaa. Kufa yani na ugonjwa wako, na hakutaka watu ili waweze kumuonea huruma. Na kwa Kiislamu sisi tunasema inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Kwa yeye Mungu ama Allah tunatoka, na yeye tu hapo ndio tutarudi. Kwa hivyo Mungu, kile sisi tunapenda yeye anakipenda zaidi. Kwa hivyo kaka yetu ametangulia na sisi tuko nyuma yake. Rambirambi nyingine nitatoa kwa mbunge mwenzetu Bwana Injendi, na yeye kweli sikumjua vizuri, manake hii ni tamu yangu ya kwanza, na yeye pia kwake, kwa familia na kwa constituency yake tunatoa pole, na ni rambirambi kwa kutoka Kewosa. Pia Mungu ailaze hizi roho mbili, azilaze mahali pema peponi, na wale wengine pia walotangulia tunawaombea pia Mungu waweke mahali pema peponi. Asante.
Senator Esi.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa nafasi hii. Nami ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kutoa pole zangu nikimwomboleza marehemu Seneta Cheptumo wa bunge la eneo la kaunti ya Baringo. Na wakati mwingine nikiangalia maisha haya huwa ninashangaa, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, kama siku ya leo mimi ninasherekea siku ya kuzaliwa, na wakati huo pia ninaomboleza kumpoteza Seneta Cheptumo. Lakini nikirejelea maneno ya mwandishi wa vitabu William Shakespeare, ambaye alisema kuwa ulimwengu ni ukumbi wa michezo na kila mtu ana nafasi yake. Ningependa kusema kuwa Seneta Cheptumo alikuwa na nafasi yake ya kuhudumia wakazi wa Baringo kwa miaka hiyo ambayo tumeitaja hapa, na kazi ya Mwenyezi Mungu haina makosa. Pengine ilikuwa ni mpango ya Mwenyezi Mungu kuwa mpumzishe wakati huu, lakini sisi kama viongozi ambao wanakuwa tunajifunza unyenyekevu ambao Seneta Cheptumo aliokuwa nao. Seneta Cheptumo tulikuwa tunakaa naye pale nyuma, kwa lugha ya Kimombo backbenchers, na kipindi fulani aliniita kuniuliza, hivi Kenyuri wewe umepangaje maisha yako? Na nikiangalia ninaona ni kama ni baba ambaye alikuwa ananiona mimi kama msichana mdogo, na pengine angependa kutoa wosia wake jinsi nitakavyojipanga katika mambo haya ya siasa na uongozi. Kwa hayo nitamkosa sana, na ninaomba kuwa Mwenyezi Mungu ailaze roho yake mema pahali pema, na kwa wakazi wa Baringo natoa pole zetu kabisa, na nikisema kwa lugha ya Kikalenjin mutio missing. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator Beatrice.
and our director, how did you two meet? I've never seen you come before for shooting.
I passed by the studio today and saw a boy, tall and handsome. I've never seen him before. Who is he? How's this enough? I know clearly about your appetite. You want to save money?
Okay. I'm just saying, you don't need to pay.
Well,
can I use a group coupon?
Oh, you can.
Maxim